Got him.
Because,
All right, we're live now. We're live now. Okay. Got him. Okay. Let's see here. We are hot and spicy. We got cams up.
We are spicy, huh?
We got
With a spicy meatball.
spicy meatball. Okay. What is that? Oh, fuck. I had to get my printer working. And so I installed drivers. And of course, it's like, do you want some like apps that like Canon made? Absolutely not. But there they are on my computer. Disgusting. The most disgusting apps I could possibly imagine in my toolbar. Okay. Let's see. Get the right music up.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
Besides,
1, 2, 3.
Sean, you mind coming in at the end there for Evo news?
Yeah,
Evo news,
that's
brother.
Oh, Christian, you too. Yeah, you got both. Yeah, so just the end of news there.
Christian wants to bounce off.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll hang out a little bit.
Yep.
Sure.
No, they're not allowed.
Well, you heard Mikey. You guys just burst in, all right, with the chairs.
Somebody that knows something about
the top
fighting
row.
games has to talk about
You guys
it.
just come in, you say, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
All right, Scott Hall.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
I got it.
Wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling.
Yeah, of course we don't know that. We're not fucking dorks.
I was expecting you guys to get it. I was just happy that Mike did get it.
All right.
Okay.
You know, I like wrestling, but I'm not a fucking nerd.
Well, that's
All right.
fair.
Are we sure about that?
I'm a nerd for other stuff. Like,
Okay.
I like astronomy a little bit.
Weeb stuff.
Very similar.
Astronomy and wrestling, yeah. That's why Dan
Yes.
Riker
What's your
has a
favorite star then,
telescope.
Christian? Or, yeah.
That's right.
My favorite star. What's the name of the one that's in Altair? I don't remember the name. It has a number as the name.
All time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Wait, are you talking about K-Pax, the one that Kevin Spacey's from in the movie K-Pax? You just, I know you're a big, I know you're a huge
Pluto
Kevin
nowadays.
Spacey fan, Christian.
Yeah,
Always defending him.
sorry. I'm looking at this summer triangle to see the name.
You,
of the...
guys, he won't shut up about Kevin Spacey. He just loves him so much.
Don't forget the tweet.
That's not true. What the fuck?
Okay, let's see here. That's just a bunch of letters.
It's just called Altair. Oh, that's cool.
From Ass Creed?
No, you know the speed of light.
That's the thing that Sonic often goes faster than, right?
Yeah, 290,972,000.
Around at the speed of time.
450.
Jeff,
I
have you?
think that's.
I'm in the middle of formulating a tweet, all right? It takes time.
That's not for me.
He's
I
an
just do it.
artiste, okay?
Look, I just have to be sure that you heard me because these two just go on and on. I don't know if my noise makes it through.
He was the one singing. Get off me.
I don't know. This guy was talking about Kevin Spacey or some shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we get it. You both are big Kevin Spacey fans despite of what he's done. It's kind of gross.
or maybe especially because of.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Bad podcast.
I tweeted it. I
All right,
tweeted it.
Jeff, let's do each
Can't
other
wait to
here.
see the ass
Okay.
we're gonna get in
God
this
damn
fucking
it.
podcast.
God damn it.
The okay is just the
Yep.
best part.
Okay.
Enjoy your gaming.
Till I see evidence that the world is round, I'm not believing a damn thing.
Okay, enough. Let's.
White girl.
Oh, there it is. That's pretty good.
Look, I'll say it. You should probably have to see semen at some point.
I'm ready. I'm ready. If Mike, are you ready? I think.
I'm
Wait,
ready.
actually, you know what?
Yes,
I got to test the sound. Let me do that real quick.
Yeah, the music.
You guys hear that?
Nope.
Nope.
It's a good thing we tested that.
Noise gate into hell.
Fantastic. Let's see. Routing. There we go.
Everything is awesome.
There we go. Yes, we're here and we got music. Let's
In
fucking
5, 4, 3. Internet, you're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Game Mess Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is co-host Extreme.
It's me, it's Mike Minotti.
Well, welcome to today's show, Mike Minotti. How are you doing?
Thank you for bringing me back.
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate it.
God damn it.
Honor.
That clip went around a little bit, and boy, felt dumber and dumber every time I watched it.
No, it was very good. I didn't know this was happening.
Yeah, people are like, Mike's restraint. I'm like, Mike wasn't paying attention either, but like, it's not his job to pay attention at that point.
I've heard that intro like 300 times. I don't listen to it.
Yeah, like when to say your name, which is the whole thing. Like, you just say your name when you say your name. So yeah, today's episode, Quake II, Red Dead, it's $50, and Sony isn't happy, Square Enix isn't happy, nobody is happy except for us.
Happy.
You're on this show, yeah.
Well, a little tired, but we made a lot of content today.
Yeah, it's kind of a packed Thursday, and I want to do Mortal Kombat tomorrow. I also want to do some quick looks. We talked about that, and then also like I have the normal shows as well. So UPF and Game S mornings. And and I'll play Baldur's Gate. Like, who the fuck am I kidding? It's insane at this point. But I don't know. No, good things to complain about. Too much work. It's fun. I enjoy it. But Mike, how are you doing otherwise?
Yeah, because we're gonna record our first Columbo episode after this. So Columbros, right?
Yep, Columbos is happening. That's right.
It's exciting. But I'm good. I was feeling off for a while. Today I feel better. So hopefully that kind of keeps going on the up and up. So yeah, I've been in better spirits today than for most of the week. So yeah, I'm doing good. And the video games continue to be a lot of fun. And somehow they keep releasing new ones that I want to play. They
refuse to stop despite my pleas. Yeah, it's like a new video game every day. I learn about that I want to play. So, and then that's a lot of those have to just go on a list because Baldur's Gate 3 just has to be next. It has to be next. It has to be the thing I play.
It's a giant deal. It's incredible. Yep. Like, Tears of the Kingdom is Tears of the Kingdom, but like the story for 2023 really could be anchored around Baldur's Gate 3, even over Starfield or Tears of the Kingdom, and that is shocking. I mean, what's its Metacritic average now? A 97?
97. We're going to talk about that in the news. Yeah, absolutely.
Insane. It's insane.
It's games don't do that, and this game is. And that is. You're right. It is so surprising. It's surprising to a certain extent. Like I always in my back of my head, I'm like, that game could be really important. Even wildest dreams, like this huge, this important, this successful, this well reviewed. It is hitting on every single cylinder. So I have to play it.
There was just kind of a thought experiment while I was streaming, like what games do we think will be nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And there's some stuff that I assumed would make it at the beginning of the year, and I'm like, there's no room for it now.
Oh, Hi-Fi Rush doesn't stand a chance.
Hi-Fi Rush, no chance.
No chance.
No chance. I don't think Final Fantasy 16 has a chance
Final Fantasy 16 might get in, but it's slim. It's
a slim chance. It's a real tough chance. Diablo 4? Nah.
Right. You got to think, like, some of those votes for Final Fantasy 16 are definitely going to get swallowed up by Baldur's Gate 3 on PS5, like winning over a lot of those people.
I'm not like one of those people like, I can't believe Final Fantasy 16 is not an RPG, but in playing Baldur's Gate, which is the most RPG, it's kind of like, yeah, this stuff's nice. Maybe a little bit more of this would have been nice in Final Fantasy. I get it. I get the complaint.
Yeah, we talked about it, but it is like the lessons learned of like pulling so far away in the other direction of being like, people are afraid of that stuff. We can't even like have a hint of it, or we have to like hide it, bury it under all these other things. It's like, no, if you make that shit front and center and tell people there are also dicks and vaginas in your game, like you're going to be set. You are good.
I mean, Square Enix, they straight up came out and said, and the producer came straight up said, like, I want to make it more mainstream, so I had to like get rid of the RPG stuff. And I can't help but wonder, as much as I love Yoshi P, if that isn't fundamentally incorrect, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, both can be right?
Both can be true.
Both can be true. It's just like, it's hard to reconcile that, like, based looking at Baldur's Gate 3 and be like, both are true, but the fervor for Baldur's Gate 3 makes me think maybe one is a little bit more true than the other.
It's a fervor. It's a straight up fervor. We got a fervor.
We got a fervor on our hands, everybody. I hope you catch it. I'm going to catch it. But first, I want to thank everybody for joining us. You can get more from Mike and me by joining the Discord at GameMess.net. Give us a good rating wherever you are listening, and hit that like button here on YouTube while we're live. It helps people find the show. Or if you're watching later, that also helps. Thank you to Carlos Ayin, who's Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. Thank you to 1UP vs. CPU for our artwork. You can find more of him at 1UpVersusCPU.com. Also, I don't know, he did a shirt on the Giant Bomb store. So you go to store.giantbomb.com. The hot dog shirt that I'm in, He designed that. So shout out.
Right, that's awesome.
Yes, it's he worked hard and a long time on that, and it finally got up there. It's also a sticker pack, and that sticker pack is really awesome as well.
Hey, I paid for my Dan Reichert shirt. You can give me one of those hot dog shirts for free. How about that?
That sounds like a plan to me. I need to reach out to Baccalaureate about another round of swag anyhow. So, yeah, we are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever pods are caught. Thank you to our mods, and support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you access to the private channels in our Discord, the monthly Q&A, 1 month early access to our Jeopardy games, participation in our monthly game club discussions, and of course, all of our shows ad-free. Couple updates about those things. Jeopardy game is going to get recorded here pretty soon. I was out, then Sean was out, but all that stuff's in the works. It takes Sean plenty of time to put that stuff together, so it'll happen. Just give us a little extra time there. Same with the monthly Q&A. I did it really late last month, so I was kind of like maybe thinking going forward I might do it in the middle of the month instead. So aiming to do it next weekend. Additionally, there is a brand new perk for supporters starting almost like immediately, probably starting tonight. It's going to be a new monthly podcast, Columbros, where me and Mike recap Columbo episodes. We're going to start with episode 1, the Steven Spielberg directed episode. So look out for that. We'll record that.
That might be more early access for patrons. I think we will release
exactly.
those.
So here's the real plan. Here's how it works. It's going to be very similar to Jeopardy. You will get it 1 month early if you are a Patreon subscriber, and we'll probably put the MP3 up for podcast producers as well. So if you are in that podcast producers channel, you'll be able to find it in there early. So if you get us through Twitch or through YouTube, we got you back there. But if you're a free ad supported listener, that's totally fine. You'll just have to wait about a month. It'll have its own feed, so look out for that going forward. Okay, Mike, I got some big news topics here to talk about. You ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Starting here, Quake II Remastered has been confirmed. It's releasing August 10th. Some of this stuff is going to be reportedly because of the story.
That's today. I played it.
Yes, it is out now. It costs $10, 10 euros, £8. Quake II Remastered is what it's called, not Quake II Enhanced. The first one was Enhanced.
It's kind of called Quake. It's just called Quake 2, really. You just go on
Steam. They just that's the okay. I think they did refer to it as Quake 2 Remastered at the event, but I think yes, just Quake 2. It's coming. It's PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch. Obviously different than Quake 2 RTX. It was announced at QuakeCon. It also includes Quake 2 64 for free and a new expansion called Call of the Machine. I'm assuming that is done by Machine Games once again.
It is. Yeah, it's just like what they did with Quake 1. Jeff, this rules. This is so
This
cool.
is very awesome. So you played it. What'd you think?
It's awesome. It's super fun. It's like Quake 2 is just such a it's a big turning point in a lot of ways for shooters. It's kind of in that direct lineage where Half-Life like really changed things, but Quake 2 did a lot of that also. I mean, the source engine that Half-Life is built off of is based on the Quake 2 engine. The Quake 2 engine is basically the first modern shooter engine. And I don't know, something about this, it is still just such a vibe. And the remaster stuff, like, all the normal stuff, like it looking spiffier, it just running well, and all that stuff's nice. They have this new compass mode where it's kind of like, those video games where you push a button and it's like, oh, there's like the breadcrumb trail to help show you where to go. Like they kind of built a system of like that in here that looks so good. It's like it's always been there. And so that's nice because these games can get kind of easy to get turned around in, right?
Yes.
So that's great. Now I like everything Night Dive has done. I'm pretty sure this is still Night Dive. Once again, really excited to play through this original campaign. I mean, this was such a big deal in my early PC gaming life. Excuse me.
I mean, this is why you weren't playing GoldenEye, right?
Well, this is why I was a brat about GoldenEye.
Sure,
is because I saw, Quake 2, I could play that with like mouse and keyboard. I was using the arrow keys like a scrub back then because I was like, well, obviously that's what you use.
Right.
But I had that. It looked a million times better. Yeah, that's why I was a brat about those kind of things for sure.
Quake 2 64 is it's just a 64 release of Quake 2, but like Quake.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not. Oh, are you just messing with me or just what?
No, seriously, it's like Doom 64. It's a separate game.
That's what I was getting to. It's the 64 release of Quake 2, but it's a completely different game, right?
It's a completely different game. It's like a different set of levels, right?
Yes, different set of levels, right? Quake 2 came to PlayStation, but had many of the PC levels in it. Is my so basically the same as the PC game on PlayStation, but the N64 one is like a wholly separate thing, which is why it's cool that it's included here. Also, it
Very cool.
renders like an N64 game, which has a look. It's not a great look for everybody, but I love it. Very nostalgic. Yeah, and I was like, man, they just put so much love into these Quake 2 these Quake remasters, and that's Night Dive's MO. But this is very exciting. And it's $10. It's $10.
$10, yeah. It was just, I even, instead of just like asking PR, it's like $10. I just want to play it now.
Yep.
Let's just go. Come on. Why not? It's awesome. They've done a good job of going through a lot of these, right? We basically have all of the Dooms and the Quakes now, and some of the other, like even some more of the obscure ones from this era, like Power Slave, have been done. Night Dive's done the 2 Turok games. Hope they keep going. I hope they keep finding more games from this era and they keep giving them this treatment, because man, there's something about these that nothing else really quite scratches that itch. Even like the newer boomer shooter games, like there's something about the originals. I don't know if it's because I know the originals and there's something about that is contextually impressive and interesting in that way, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's the cool thing about Quake is you can go back to it. You really can, and it is an anchor to that time in a way that a handful of games are, but Quake especially. It's literally impossible, Mike, that Machine Games has done 2 expansions and is that not going to work on something new Quake related, right? That's the whole point of this. It has to be, right?
I would certainly hope so. Like, what else are we doing here? Obviously, Machine Games is a pretty busy studio.
Yep.
But God, would I love to see them do a take on Quake. We haven't gotten
Quake take, if you would.
Quake for so long, the last attempts at Quake have always been entirely multiplayer focused. And that's fine. I like Quake 3, but Quake 3 is not like the end all be all for me. I do care about Quake 1 and 2. I care about it as this complete package with a fun single player campaign. And yeah, it should also have this awesome multiplayer mode, sure. But I definitely think, looking at what the recent Doom games have done, that is the model you want to follow. My question for you, Jeff, is do you want the Quake 1 kind of medieval, gothic, slightly, a little almost horror, a little bit of horror, a little bit of that Eldritch kind of aesthetic, or do you want the more just pure sci-fi Quake 2, Quake onward?
I mean, I think the right answer should be a Quake 1, because like if we want the sci-fi like sort of thing, there's Doom, but I think Quake can do that stuff even better in a lot of ways. And
because Doom has all that demon stuff, and I got I love those Doom games. That the demon hell aesthetic, that's one of my lesser favorite aesthetics. Like what was that fun first person shooter with like the music stuff in it that came out, Metal Hellsinger? Yeah, I like the game a lot, but it's like demons. Hell.
Well, okay, like I'm just to pause you a little bit, Doom should be doing that, and it does it.
No, I agree.
Doom 2016 is reveling in that stuff and nails it. But
exactly, but that's not the criticism. But this is, you can do more pure sci-fi. You can do even more space marine sci-fi in a way that even Halo does it. You can throw in some of that medieval stuff and kind of spice up a bit there, and you also still have Hex and over there too.
Exactly.
If you really want to go in that
I think that's what you do. You kind of maybe bridge the gap, and not fully. Like you're right. It's not 50-50 gothic and sci-fi, but you go sci-fi, you go off-world, and you discover like, oh, that gothic stuff came from space, and it's like that's fun. That's a good time.
Goths.
Yeah, I mean Warhammer.
The most dangerous goths of all.
Right. Yeah, you're in space, and it's a spaceship, but then you look out the window, and it's like this spaceship is also a cathedral, and they're playing organ music. Like that shit rules. Yeah, do that.
I do hope it's like the Doom games in that, I don't have to reload. Basically, that's the best way to put it. That's the thing I love playing these games. Like, man, reloading was maybe a mistake. It's fun to just keep shooting. Actually,
man, Doom 2016 is so good. I never played Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
I never played that. I should play that. I should play Doom. Fuck, why am I talking about other games right now?
You can't make content. That's not happening now.
Yep, not happening right now.
Someday when we are older, we can do that, but not not right now.
Doom 2016 might be the game I came around the hardest on from preview period to
Twisted Metal TV show moment.
Yeah, we really did.
We laughed at it at first.
You're like, this
ha,
is
ha,
stupid.
ha,
How do they not
that's
see
a
how
stupid?
how do they not
bad
see how
idea.
embarrassing this is? And it's like, oh my god, we were
Yeah.
so wrong. It's so
We were very bad.
goddamn good.
That was the worst I've ever been.
Yes.
I agree.
Yep, definitely. It's like that's the one that taught me. Do not judge violence in games until you're playing the game yourself. You need the context. You have to be in control to know the context of the violence. And it's like, okay, these glory kills actually just rule instead of how I felt before. And it's like, that's a
Right.
little over the top. It's like, shut the fuck up, you idiot.
I do that every Mortal Kombat too.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, maybe this is actually kind of just gross.
Yeah, you play it, you're like,
Then I play it.
that's
I'm
totally
like,
worth
I want
it.
to do that 5 more times.
Exactly. So that's the game that taught that lesson to me, and I will always remember it. Red Dead Redemption 4 on PlayStation and Switch is coming. It's $50. That's the thing everyone's hung up on, other than the fact that it's just a port, which only emphasizes the $50 price tag being. But hey, guess what? Strauss Zelnick says it's commercially accurate. So fuck you, Mike.
That's a fun phrase.
It is,
That's
right?
one we'll be pulling out for a while. Commercially.
Yes, it is. Another one for the
accurate.
repertoire. Yeah.
But based on what? It's not based on like Metroid Prime Remastered, which
I mean, it's
is
based on what
less
they
than
think they
that
can get away
in
with.
in like an actual, yeah. I guess, I do think there are a decent amount of people who are maybe burned from their last remastered or / port efforts with Grand Theft Auto. I don't know. It's the most bizarre thing is still the no PC version. That I'm not sure. I have no idea what's going on there. But sure, whatever. You think you could charge a little bit too much money for your ancient, barely worked on port? Fine.
Yep, it's a lot of people have responded very poorly to this announcement. It has something like 100,000 downvotes on YouTube compared to like 30,000 likes. So yeah, people aren't happy. But I want to say, like, will that affect the sales? I think that price seems high enough to, yes, affect the sales, but it's a price point, and price points can change very easily. And in 2 months, the thing's going to be what, $30, $35? But I mean, it's coming out. What is it? August 17th. It's coming out in a couple days. 1 week from today, it'll be out, and then by Black Friday, you're going to be able to get the fucking thing for $15. So it's like, what? Why? We're going to get upset about that. Oh, it's not worth it. And it's like, well, just wait then, I guess. So it's like, well, yeah, but I still think we should maybe be complaining a little bit and like shouting just a tad at these companies for like trying to like pull the rug over or pull the wool over our eyes a little bit. It's like, yeah, I guess, but
Man, of all the things I'm playing the rest of this year, as much as I like Red Dead Redemption 1, that's not exactly high on my list.
no chance in hell. Yeah, absolutely. Final Fantasy 16 didn't meet high-end expectations. Square Enix's share price dropped nearly 15% on this news after its Q2 2020 earnings report, where and they also had 65% drop in profits. But the company cited slow PS5 adoption and Final Fantasy 16's launch sales as a reason for the decline.
Is PlayStation 5 adoption slow?
No, well, I mean, maybe at one point. It's not. It just isn't. It just is not.
It just isn't.
Sony's going to say apparently it is as well, which is crazy. but their whole thing is like, we predicted 25 million consoles sold for. This is the next story as well. 25 million consoles sold for the year, and we're a little bit behind that pace. I'm like, well, yeah, no shit. Like, it's a huge number. Yeah.
How does this keep? Why are the expectations always so ridiculous? It's like makes them look good to exceed quote unquote expectations.
Right. This is the Jan was on Game S Mornings this morning, and we talked like that's the thing. Like, these companies are almost always conservative in their predictions so that they can overcome them. They can, like, oh, we beat expectations. I wrote for GameSpeed. You still do. Oh, beats expectations, a big thing among investors.
Yeah, they love to read that. They sure
exactly.
do.
So if you set high expectations, you better meet them at the very, very least. So
Final Fantasy 16 is like selling at the same pace as Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which should have been a bigger deal. And it came out for a platform that definitely had more consoles sold at the point it came out with. So I don't know what else they were expecting.
Yeah, it's really tough for me to imagine them thinking this thing was going to sell 5 million copies across 35, 40 million PlayStation 5s in the first couple of weeks. This thing hasn't even had its first holiday yet. Yes.
No.
This is bananas, and it's bad Square Enix being the bad Square Enix that it is.
There's a part of me, it's like, maybe they're sincere about it. Like, no, it's expectations, it's fine, and maybe something's getting lost in translation. I don't know, because it is... Square Enix has done it before, I get it. It is so bafflingly stupid. There we go, baffling.
You had it right the second time. You should have given up quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, but I thought if I did, I thought I could do it 2 times in a row, and that would negate. Then
Sure.
I'd be plus.
Oh,
but then I
get
messed it
that.
up again. I messed it up again.
I get it. I know what you mean. I know what you're going for. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, bafflingly. Okay, there it is. Baffling.
Confusingly stupid.
Just stupid as shit, Mike. it's bad.
It sure is.
It's a rake they set up themselves to step on every time.
Every time.
Don't have to have those high expectations. They can just lie. They can just
lie.
Say, because they even said high end expectation. I mean, I guess they need some excuse for why their profits are way down.
Right. They don't even need to tell them that you had a range of expectations. Just say it met expectations.
Yeah.
Like what?
I don't know. It's weird and stupid and bad. And I think,
what do you think their Foam Star expectations are?
Sky high. I think it's going to sell 12 million copies. It always goes back to Square Enix. It's just kind of it feels lost. They feel lost, even when they're putting out games that are generally liked, like Final Fantasy 16, even with a money printing factory like Final Fantasy 14. It just seems like they can't get all of their shit together. It always is kind of messy over there, and this is another example of that.
They feel like a company that was hoping and expecting to be bought by this time, right?
Right, like, and has had a CEO leave because that didn't happen, and now they're like, well, I don't have a plan for the future. The plan was to get bought, and now that's not happening. So someone else come figure this out. And they're making deals with Microsoft, and they have some stuff in the works, but they need to. They need to recalibrate a lot of stuff over there.
Came out this year.
Jesus Christ. Oh, really? This year?
Yeah, that was this year, dude.
That's crazy.
Forspoken.
Whoa, okay. That actually is deeply upsetting. I am unmoored from reality. Okay, then Sony is still not satisfied with PS5 sales in the UK. Sony's PS5 price cut hasn't led to the reaction they hoped for in the UK. This is what's crazy. Okay,
oh my God, they raised the price and people bought it less. Then they brought the price back to
way
regular,
down.
And they're like, these ungrateful Smurfs.
Yeah, and they brought the price way down too, and people are buying it like fucking crazy. Apparently, so the sales are up something like 500% compared to before the price. What are you talking about? What is happening? Why are they all like this?
Hey, Mike, remember 2 weeks ago when you and I were on this podcast talking about, boy, the PS5 sure is selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Boy, how they forget. Sorry, just had to get that.
No, but it is. It just straight up is. And now it's selling even better because it's a significant price drop. And they're like, sales are weak in the UK, but Europe as a whole is performing well. PS5 hardware sales increased by 38% year on year in the first quarter. Sony is working to implement measures to achieve their.
Is this a rib on Jim Ryan? I'm sorry, Jeff. Like, what are they talking?
Yeah, right. Like, you can't even get it to sell in the UK. I don't know. But PS5 sales jumped 75% in the UK following the sale. And that was like by one measure, but by another measure, it was up like a huge amount from like the weeks preceding the sale. PS5 unit sales are up 73% for the first 31 weeks of the year. So, I mean, they're worried about not hitting that 25 million number, but that's why they have this sale. That's one of the big reasons they have this sale. They're also probably going to get a boost when they do launch the new model of the PS5 that almost certainly is coming out. I know we haven't had it announced, but seems like that's going to happen.
From that, they'll get a boost when Spider-Man happens.
And Spider-Man 2.
Happen.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter if the boost isn't as much as the imaginary number that you thought the boost would be, I guess.
Chad, help me out. Was 10 million is how much the PS5 sold last quarter, right? It was in that range. I think it was close to 10 million. Maybe it was like 8 million or something like that. But it's definitely going to do about that same amount throughout the summer quarter, which is crazy. And then they could do as much as like 12 million in the holiday quarter, if not more than that. So it's like right there, you're maybe at your numbers. I don't know. So the PS5 is selling just about as fast as the PS4 in terms of if you line it up. And really, if you just look at the last few months since the supply constraints have been fixed, it's way outselling the PS4. How can you not be satisfied with that? I don't know.
I have no idea. It's deeply upsetting.
Yeah, it's like I just like trying to understand these companies sometimes is infuriating. Sony says it's delaying some games. This is a weird one. Sony delayed several unnamed first-party titles beyond March 2024. This may be the reason why the recent PlayStation showcase was disappointing. This is some speculation from some people out there. Among the possible delayed titles, people are again speculating. Could be Stellar Blade, The Last of Us Factions, and Twisted Metal, the reboot that was rumored to be in development, although who knows how close that actually is. Team Asobi, Bluepoint, Bin Studio, and other high-profile devs are reportedly working on new games, but we haven't heard about those. I don't know, Mike. Do you have any ideas like of what might be delayed, what might not?
No, I mean we know Factions is delayed. Like they said that
on ice.
So,
yeah.
Right. So yeah, like maybe never coming out delayed.
Yeah.
But I mean we don't know much really, except for like rumor and speculating on what is coming in a post Spider-Man 2 world. You know, you assume the next Ghost of Tsushima. You assume like hopefully an Astro game and The Last of Us Part 3, among other things. But I don't know, like one of their dozen live service games, I guess.
Yep. And it's like, you know, it can feel like a little bit like Sony is kind of barren right now, but they do have Spider-Man 2 coming, and they had a streak of PS5 games before this small little dearth, this little break.
Yeah, you know,
in
they
releases.
had Final Fantasy,
and then they have
and Forspoken.
yeah, but it's like they're also like the PS5 is the system, the platform that is going to benefit the most from things like Madden coming out and FIFA, and then like Spider-Man 2. Well, not Spider-Man 2. I mean, like
it's about to get an unexpected Baldur's Gate 3 boost.
Right, Baldur's Gate 3. There's like other big third-party releases coming out this year that are going to push out PS5s, and that thing it almost is kind of not a big deal. It's as long as Spider-Man 2 comes out and then all those other things happen, the PS5 is going to be just fine. But if you're just like looking at PlayStation first-party games, it could be like, what is going on there? Are these live service games getting in the way of everything? It's probably not that simple, but maybe there's something to that. I don't know. Also, games are just bigger than ever, and even those big Sony studios can run into problems.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see here. Baldur's Gate 3 is the best reviewed game of the year so far. Baldur's Gate 3 has a 97 on Metacritic. That's based on 14 critic reviews so far.
18 now.
18, really? Okay, and it's 97?
Still 97.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be in that 97 range. It's currently the second highest rated. Oh, it says currently the second, but I think that's changed. I think it is the highest rated game. It will be released on PS5 next month. An Xbox version may come next year. This game really is winning over just about everyone that's playing it, it seems like.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is a 96, so this is slightly better than that. Right now, a 97 is about as good as I think you can get these days. I don't know when we've seen a 98 in recent memory.
Right. When was the last time? What 98 was it? I don't know.
I think when I think about 98, I think about like old stuff like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time,
like
and
a Tony Hawk game was able to maybe get a 98 at some point.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely bananas that this game's doing that well, and it is just reach. You know, there's a certain point where something that can seem niche just comes out to this kind of quality, and the word of mouth these days can spread very easily. And the other factor, people just starving for this kind of game, all those BioWare freaks who have kind of been left out in the cold for a long time as they are patiently waiting for just, you know, substantial updates on what's going on with Dragon Age, and forget about Mass Effect. We know that they're working on it. They've had small teasers for that. That's a very long ways away. Well, in the meantime, here's a game where you can cast spells and fuck people, so that's nice.
Exactly. And I mean, it is what people want. This is, you know, you look around for like what other genres can have this sort of burst, this glow up, this instantaneous thrust into the spotlight. And it's, you know, this was one that was primed, but I don't know if there's many, like, you know, point and click adventures aren't going to suddenly, like Myst isn't suddenly going to come back and like do this stuff, but games where you can, the common thread here, because like, let's look at games that have had this similar effect recently. It has been Tears of the Kingdom and Elden Ring. And am I missing anything? Those are the last, I think these three.
Elden Ring's like what I really think about, yeah.
And these are games where people can really, you know, explore on their own terms, tell the story on their own terms, engage with the world on their own terms. And that seems to be the key. And that seems to be the thing that is this I mean, again, key that unlocks this larger world of players out there that are waiting for something that speaks to them. And, the people that want a story told to them, they are well fed. They know where to go for that stuff. Sony's got you. A handful of other developers got you. Square Enix is trying to get you. But like the people that can make those games are making those games, and people know where to get them. The people that are like looking for this opportunity to express themselves in a very deep way. So, well, I mean, Elden Ring did that. It's the first time From really tried that, though. And Breath of the Wild, now Tears of the Kingdom, it's the first time Nintendo really tried that. Is anyone else going to be able to follow in their footsteps? And to have it come from a small little studio over in Europe, that's like, I think that's got to be like, this is a moment where it's like anyone can make one of these games if they really believe in it and they recognize like where they should be scoping up and where they should be scaling back. So, okay, we have a whole new world of possibility of what games are going to look like going forward. And, it's not like even this game is doing a ton of new stuff. It's just putting it all together, and it's working. It really is.
Larry, obviously when we say small, like, yeah, we know they have
Hundreds.
a lot of employees.
Yeah, they have like 300 people, but it's like, man, that's not a Ubisoft game. I mean, come on, there's
right.
I mean, 1,000 people worked on a Zelda game. Like that's a big studio these days. Yes.
Would it be fun if the next one was, there's those rumors that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be like a quote unquote bigger game, a more open game. I don't know what that means. That almost scares me in some ways. Like, how do you do that? I mess it up. But man, if we're really setting ourselves up now, because we already disappointed ourselves with like Metroid Dread and Metroid Prime Remastered sales, but now I'm like, maybe Metroid Prime 4 is going to get that Elden Ring, Breath of the Wild, Baldur's Gate 3 glow up. What am I doing to myself? What's wrong with me?
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, you're right. Honestly, there was a part of me that thought that it could never happen to Zelda. So the fact that Zelda's fantasy, and fantasy always seems to have a little bit better chance of making that work.
Zelda is Zelda. But I didn't think it would happen to Baldur's Gate. And we still don't have like necessarily sales numbers yet, although it's got to be millions.
It's got to be millions. It has to be millions just
already.
On PC. Yeah, already. Right. And like we know that it sold pretty well through early access. It didn't. No, most of the sales have happened since it went 1.0. So yeah, it's really popping off for that game. And then Evo happened. There's a bunch of news here. There's like a bunch of words people just threw in here out of order. Under Night Invert 2 Cis Celeste. That's just obviously a typo. All right.
No, it's not.
Okay,
right.
Sit down.
Okay,
sit
what the
down.
fuck happened here?
It's time for us to shine. That's right. FGC reporter Turbo Sean here to run you through the announcements. I was out there this past weekend. I saw the announcements happen live. I got to play some of these games, unreleased games, which was very fun. I haven't had much of a chance to do that before. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Calm down. We gotta sit your ass down. Okay. So, like Jeff said,
10 minutes.
word soup here. Under Night In-Birth 2 Cis Celeste, which, by the way, much better title than the last one. Under Night In-Birth EXE Late CLR. Which
there was more to it than Under Night In-Birth? I didn't know that.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah.
If you ever hear people say uni when referring to a fighting game, this is what they're talking about.
Okay.
So. But it's like the anime game, and it's announced to release in.
They're finally only allowing one anime game. It's about time they put a limit on that.
Oh, I know what this is now. This is
This is the
people like
not
people like
predecessor. What's
uni.
the other word? The successor
to
successor to Melty Blood. So if you've heard that before, that's what this is following up.
Yes.
It's gonna have rollback netcode right out the gate, which everyone's very excited for because these games historically have bad netcode. So I'm sure, Christian, you're very excited about all this. You seem to be big into these anime games.
I play Uniel a lot.
I think you're how I found out the game existed.
Yeah, and then the fucking COVID happens, and so we couldn't like play the game. Just like you can't play online because the online was just bad.
Yeah, that's why you need good netcode.
I'm really happy that the new one has rollback. So. Really excited.
I got to play this on the show floor. They shadow dropped their demo, which was kind of interesting. No one was expecting that. But yeah, and as far as I could tell, it was Under Night. So it is what it is. I'm not much of an anime fighter guy, so.
This does look like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Sorry, I'm going ahead.
This is what happens when Jeff isn't in charge of the show. He just like his brain goes everywhere.
Yep.
This is
very
some
true.
Mikey news maybe. The new Fatal Fury game is officially named Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves.
Yeah, they got rid of the Werewolves London part. Which is a good
converged
decision,
it
to be
all.
clear.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Garo just means it's like French for werewolf or something like that.
It
so
just
the
means
wolves theme
werewolf,
was,
yeah.
They showed a brief teaser trailer during one of the SNK segments. And if you listen to the voices, people are trying to suss out some of the characters. But the big thing is that they showed off what the game actually looks like, and it has an advancement of like the KOF 15 art style, but it has some nice cell shading and some special effects and stuff. It looks very similar to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which in other words means that Mike Minotti thinks is ugly. Mike, do you have anything to say for yourself?
He's right.
I'm right. Yeah, this game looks significantly worse than Street Fighter 6. I mean, I don't.
Boo this
I think it'll be
man.
fun.
Boo.
He's right. Like I got excited to go look at it, and I'm like, oh, that was my
Yeah.
reaction. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Alright.
it looks a bit better than King of Fighters 15, which is
It does.
also
Yeah, I
pretty
agree
ugly
with you
game.
that Kingdom Fighter looks like shit. They should.
Yeah, KOF 15 is too simple and like
Yeah,
garishly colored.
look the art before they went full 3D, and losing those 2D sprites is a fucking crime because they
Yeah.
were beautiful. They
Yeah,
look
I
awesome.
feel like
It's
if
just-
KOF
anybody-
13 is one of the greatest looking games of all time.
If anybody should be team, we're still just going to do sprites. I feel like it should be SNK right now, but alas.
Unfortunately, sprite artists are very hard to come by nowadays.
Yeah.
so
They're all making
that's why
porn. Just
everyone-
go find them. Right?
Yeah.
yeah.
There's some detailed pixelated nipples.
All right, and then the last of like the major like game / system announcements was Killer Instinct is getting a 10th anniversary update. This is, even though the actual update itself isn't going to be that big, it's kind of an unprecedented announcement to go back to this like 10-year-old game that hasn't been worked on in 5 years and add anything. So it's getting matchmaking improvements, which is following up the fact that they basically fixed the matchmaking earlier in the year because it was going to not work with Microsoft transitioning a lot of server stuff on the back end to new services. They future-proofed it earlier in the year, and now they're going to further improve the matchmaking. Iron Galaxy is coming back in for all this, so they're doing all this as the OG
Explain
people.
why you and the other fighting game perverts like this game so much, because I've been hearing it so much from like you, from Maximilian Dude, from just all sorts of
me.
people going on. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, sure.
I talked about this a couple weeks ago when we talked about the best fighting games, but it does come down to, well, first of all, like the aesthetics of it. The music does add a lot. Like everything is musical in this game. You know,
It's
like
got some good effects too, like some good particle
Yeah.
effects in that game.
Oh, I like that Xbox One particle effect.
Yeah, right.
era. That's good stuff.
Uh-huh.
it's like Doom 2016. You know how like the music like syncs up with the action and everything like that. KI did that first, like 3 years early.
Killer
But
Instinct
also
not on
it's
Steam?
because. Yeah, it is now, but
it is, okay.
it's also just the definitive dishes and Game Pass, so you
Sure,
just
sure.
go play all of it. But gameplay wise, it's because of the combo breaker and counter breaker system. You're always playing the game. There's always a push and pull there. Like you're not just eating a combo like in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. You can break out of it. You can risk it. It might not pay off, and there's that mind game with your opponent of, am I gonna break? Am I not? It's very fun. But the last two things in the announcement is that it's getting a native Xbox Series version. It didn't have that before. It's just backwards compatible Xbox One version. So it'll presumably be, like 4K on Series X and then 1440 on Series S. We don't know for sure, but we assume that's what it's going to be. The big one is it's getting a balance update, which is really weird for a game this old, like to bring the old team in and say, hey, yeah, you can make the fixes you think need to be made after these
Change up
5
that
years
meta.
of pros playing. Exactly, that's literally what they say in the announcement, is change up the meta. It was kind of funny. Keats, the combat designer over at Iron Galaxy, put it on Twitter like earlier in the year. Yeah, sorry guys, if we had a time machine, we would go back, we would nerf Rash, but there's nothing we can do. And so when this announcement came out, all he tweeted was, Rash getting what is coming to him, man.
Oh no.
Fuck that battle toad.
Fuck the toad.
That's my main.
actually a
Oh
Rash
no.
main. I am a Rash main, so I'm a little sad. But those are like the major game announcements. And then we had a bunch of character reveals. As mentioned, Project L revealed Yasuo, the samurai character from League of Legends, is in the game.
Yes.
I got to play a decent amount of Project L too. They had a bunch of stations set up, Riot did, and I got to play 2v2 with my homie against another group pairing.
Were there
And
like
it was-
monetization scientists just like staring at you, writing down notes about like why aren't they spending money?
We know exactly how it's gonna work, because when the chroma menu came up, it's just like, oh, you're gonna charge out the ass for costumes, just like League of Legends. Are you serious?
Oh yes, you are.
And I'm gonna fucking pay you.
Uh-huh.
Let me
Hell
tell you,
yeah.
I'm gonna spend that money.
Game is very fun though. It's very snappy, and it plays a lot like Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle and Marvel Infinite, like sort of where those tag team games were going, like 2v2, very quick, like switching in and out to
Music to my
extend
ears.
combos. Yeah, it feels very good. The 2v2 is very interesting. There's a lot of, like, especially if you're couch co-oping, you can sort of like, you have to figure out how to, like, nudge your buddy and say, hey, tag me in, without like, tipping off the other team. It's kind of cute. We had a lot of fun playing it. I'm looking forward to playing more in the future. Guilty Gear Strive added a couple things, a couple new mechanics, an offensive
shirtless
one,
cowboy.
a defensive one, and Johnny, the fan favorite character, the
What's his
shirtless
name?
cowboy.
Johnny, he has no nipples.
He doesn't have nipples. That's
the
really
nippleless
Just
one.
like me.
No nips.
Unlike Mario, known for having his nipples out.
No
Yes.
nip. Yeah, that's how they call it. No nip, no naughty.
Yep.
No-
Uh, Mike was talking about this one a little bit. MK1 revealed Reptile,
Hey.
Ashura, and Havoc are coming back. So Reptile Classic, and then 2 from the PS2 era there. Havoc looks awesome. He's sort of like a zombie type character. Like, one of his attacks is like he rips off his head, like throws something at you, and then like puts his head back on. Like,
It's never
he's really
dead.
well animated. Yeah, it's interesting. And then one of the older characters, Serena, is a cameo.
That's a Serena. Is Serena a Mortal Kombat 4 character? I don't remember.
Armageddon, I think was the last time she popped up. Yeah,
Funny.
Best known for Mortal Kombat mythology, Sub-Zero. Mike, that's
Oh,
her
yeah.
crowning accomplishment there.
Let's go.
And then,
Reptile looks great, by the way. Jeff, the people in your Game S poll, I think those are people who just don't know, who are like, we like Reptile and he looks like a Reptile. No.
Tasteless heathens.
Tasteless heathens. I bet Sean will back me up. And within the fighting game community, I think everybody's very excited to see Reptile be more humanish again.
Yeah, people do tend to prefer human Reptile,
More human than
which has always
human.
been interesting to me, considering he is, he's always been like some degree of shapeshifter. But yeah, people do like when he's kind of just a ninja rather than like the MK9 version where he's like Lizard Man.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
the Lizard Man.
Last couple here. Tekken 8 revealed that Raven is coming back, so a ninja type character that fans like a lot. And then my favorite, the newcomer Azucena, was revealed.
I
The
like coffee.
queen.
Susana.
See, I was thinking about this.
Coffee.
I was thinking about this. And I'm like, man, Mike wouldn't be bitching if she was the Coke Zero queen. Like,
Yes.
it's just because she's the coffee queen. He's like,
that face on Mike went from "How dare you" to "Well, he's right."
I mean, it sounds better to me.
he's just staring at her. He's like, how dare this like hyperactive girl be peddling this sludge to me?
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
I was watching Max's video. He pointed out a little bit of Laura from Street Fighter 5 in this character, which I'm like, yeah, it probably explains why I like her. But
A little bit, but I mean, how dare you stand where she stood?
So those were some fun announcements. There's some other like technical stuff that they announced for Tekken. Ono was a weirdo and came on and sort of like joked about Street Fighter Cross or Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Taking Cross Street Fighter, yes. That was
moment.
weird. Yeah, that was weird because like was even last year was like the Tekken guy came out and said like, no, we definitely should straight up kill that project. That project doesn't exist anymore. Just
There's been
up,
back and forth there. Who the hell knows? It's just a
and
joke
now,
now.
this happened. But no, it's no longer in Capcom.
Yeah, so I was thinking that like me and my buddy were saying to each other in the audience, like, does Capcom know that he made this joke? Do they know he's on the stage right now? It was a weird moment. But yeah, the returning character in Raven, new character in Nazu look very cool. Tekken 8 continues to look good. I did play a little Tekken 8. It feels like Tekken 7. Shocker. Tekken feels like Tekken, which is kind of what Tekken B do. It's sort of its thing,
No, I forgot like an extra bar though.
I forgot to mention MK1. I'm very upset with WB/NetherRealm/whoever put this
David
shit together.
Zaslav.
They had what is like basically, like an E3 booth type thing, but with 8 setups. And it's like, did you really think that Mortal Kombat would only need 16 people at a time for when you have like 20,000 people potentially coming in and out of this over the weekend. Like
Jeff
yeah,
and I had appointments when we played it.
Yeah, they just let me in.
I was gonna say, yeah, like you lucky fuckers probably just got to experience the same demo. And I was
Ed Boon just said, "Hi, Jeff."
Right.
How much did you waited to play it, Sean?
That's the thing. It was I waited 15 minutes. I moved like it took 15 minutes to get a single group through there. So I was like, oh yeah, we're not standing here in line. So I was a little upset at that experience.
Hey, we'll be playing that game in about a month, right? So
yeah, exactly. So which is why I was just like, let's just bounce. Let's do something else.
Yeah.
Well, it's coming out soon anyways. There's no need to. Yeah. But yeah, last one was Street Fighter 6. The news everyone's talking about, of course, is the TMNT crossover that they're doing in the Battle Hub and everything. It was a very cool moment in person to watch when we all started singing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles song, a
fun.
whole arena of people. That was super cool. And then we saw the trailer and it's like, oh yeah, costumes and stuff. Cool. Oh, it's for the avatars. Okay, little weird. And then as we know now, $15 each, really?
Right.
Really?
If it was $15 for like a skin to make Ryu look like Leonardo, that's one thing.
A
But
little more, yeah. But also, that's more than a character. That's more than a playable character in
licensing
this
ain't
video
cheap.
game.
yep.
The TMNT as a team were $10 in Injustice 2. That's like the funny thing.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
they are. We gave them an inch once. They're taking a mile now. Like that
Basically.
is just what has happened here, and
Yeah. Or maybe
it's-
just Capcom having less pull. They were like, yeah, I guess we'll take what we can get.
right. I mean,
maybe.
toothpaste out of the tube on a lot of this stuff, though. They're just gonna.
Yeah.
They see other people getting away with $20 skins. They're gonna try to go as high as they can. I mean,
Yeah, it's like
no
that's what you're
excuse.
saying.
And it
Game Pass
sucks.
1.0 days. It's just
Yeah.
it's where the industry's at. So it's like even a full price game seems like we're good behind this direction.
Yeah, it's
and
that's what it is.
Last thing was that we got the first look at Aki, the next character that's going to be released for DLC. Taking over jury in the hearts and minds of those types of fans, needless to say.
Those people.
Murders somebody in her trailer.
Yeah, she basically murders you, the player character.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so
The trailer was kind of bad. I think it was a bad trailer. I don't.
it was an
understand what
awkward
this-
trailer.
Well, there's
I
no
don't understand
gameplay.
what this happened.
Yeah,
I want
no
to see her fight.
gameplay.
I don't want to see her
gameplay.
poison somebody.
Yeah, I don't want to see your world tour stuff. It was a
What
bit
is she
odd.
from? She new or
She's new. Yeah, she's
is she
originally
going to be related to Fang with all that poison
She
stuff?
is. Yes.
Yeah, I really
100%.
wish she wouldn't be, but like, yeah, her name is an acronym, and she
She's
has poison
absolutely
stuff. It's-
related
She's
to
absolutely.
Fang, everybody's favorite Final Fantasy V villain. All right, very exciting, very cool.
Yeah.
Can't have a Street Fighter 3 or Final Fight character in here. We got to have this fucked up weirdo. Great.
But at least we're getting fan favorite Ed after that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Hey, Eddie's kind of cool though.
At least we're getting Akuma at the end of the season.
Let's just say I'm looking
yeah.
forward to season 2.
Yeah, Connell Wood says the I Can Fix Her crowd. Sajam, that's what Sajam said when she was
Look to
revealed.
that, and then Sejam said it, and then
Yeah,
she's
he was
going
like, I
down
see in the
right away.
crowd. Some of y'all are like, I can fix her. No, you can't. You can do better. So, fun announcements at Evo. I had a great time playing, even though I got bodied. It was a great experience, and I'm happy I could bring the news back to y'all.
All right, well, thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Let me just finish this email because I was totally paying attention. There we go.
Incredible. We can hear you typing, by the way.
See, you know
knew,
what?
I knew.
It's an
I wasn't
important
gonna say
email, all right?
anything.
So let's all just recognize for a second that man's doing work. Mike, I got some super chats here from my friends that I want you to read.
All right, here we go. From Darachi. Working late, so thanks for the podcast. Love you, boys. You're welcome.
Hey, shout out to Darachi.
Baba is me says, feeling Baldur's Gate 3 FOMO. So I read BG3 as like Battlegrounds 3. I have an older laptop with 2070 low power card and an SD. Is PC that much better that it's worth building one? Thank you, boys. I mean, everything is definitely perspective to if you can afford it. I think if you can afford it, yes, you should build a good gaming PC.
Yeah, gaming laptops have gotten a lot better over the years. They still suck in a lot of ways, like they do. Build one. If you got a PS5 and it's just for Baldur's Gate 3, you could probably safely just wait for the PlayStation 5 version.
Oh, Grug says, man, this Mike guy is a good guest host. You should bring him in full time to the Jeff Grubb's Game Mess starring Jeff Grubb. Jeff.
I'll consider it, Greg. Don't put a big head on his shoulders.
Dr. Ryan says, what's your hottest Quake take?
I think people were, I think, getting a little upset with us about liking the sci-fi stuff over the gothic stuff. I think so. It's pretty hot.
Is it hot? Is it some like it hot, Jeff? But all right then.
Fair enough.
Big Jimbo Ryan says, "Have you seen Guptil89's video on Honest Sonic characters? It's outdated because of the IDW comics adding Whisper in IMO, but he makes some good points." Jimbo, tell me who number 4 is on the list, please.
Yeah, Jim. Give us some ideas there about what else is happening on that list. I haven't watched that yet, but I'll add it to the watch later right now.
Hey, you Peekaboo says, "Hello, Mitch, Toon Freak Minotti, and Jeff Goon Freak Grubb. Have you played the seminal PlayStation classic Parasite Eve? Its story goes places. No, but I want to, especially ever since I played through Resident Evil 1 on PlayStation 1 not too long ago. I was like, I should play other games like this now, finally, and Parasite Eve is definitely high on that list for me."
Yeah, Parasite Eve was always one that, like, from a Nintendo 64 fanboy's perspective was like, well, that looks like the next big thing after Final Fantasy VII. That must be a huge deal. And then so I assumed everyone played it, and apparently not many people did.
I played that game. It's weird. It gets weird. I don't know if it holds up still. Like,
I just read the novel.
Gameplay.
I mean, I'm sure.
You read the novel? Oh, good shit. Yeah. Yeah,
Robert,
it gets weird, and the combat is weird, so you gotta...
Well, the combat's cool. It's basically isn't it the combat that we later get in Vagrant Story, right?
Ooh, Vagrant Story. That's a fucking video game.
It's like fleshed out as in that game. It's a little bit more clunky, and it looks weird, and it feels weird.
You're a little clunky. Robert Munoz says, "Sending a thank you. I went through some intensive dental work. Listen to Game S each time to keep my mind off the awful things happening in my mouth. Thanks for keeping me calm and entertained. Remnant 2 is dope." No, Christian, you're not allowed to chime back in because he mentioned Remnant 2. Thank you, Robert. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
play it.
Good luck, Robert. I hope that we can keep your mind off of things, and I hope you get better real fast.
Yeah. Good luck with your mouth.
Absolutely.
Shigeru Miyamoto says, "God, I made so much money from the Mario movie with my cool friend Chris Pratt and all the suckers that bought Zelda. Spend this money in the Nintendo commissary, losers." Oh
man, you can get a Game Boy Advance Micro that has the cartridge wielded shut and only has what game would be in there? What game would they put in there in the prison?
In the Micro? Okay. Yeah. What's Zoop?
Oh, wow, that would be rough. Fucking Zoop's a good pull though. Zoop feels like the game you get in prison. Holy shit.
Man. Connor Wood says, "Mike, any 30XX impressions?" Yes, I was playing a bit of it before earlier today. Really liking it. I think it's a ton of fun. If the idea of Mega Man X but roguelike sounds good to you, you should be at least looking at it ASAP. I think you'll like it. I think we're going to try to put together a quick look,
yep.
Jeff.
Yeah, Mike was talking to me about that, and I think it's a good idea. So we'll look at that soon.
And that's 2-player co-op.
Ooh, we will play it soon then.
I also want to show it off single player, though, so that people can see how good I am, though.
Of course, yeah.
Because I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
Diogo RP says, "Mike, after your amazing Pac impersonation, could you give us an LA Night? Yeah.
I can't. Mine always comes out a little bit singy, and he does it. It's not singing when he does it. He goes, yeah. There it is.
In my mind, it's definitely 2 syllables. I don't know if that's correct or not. Yeah.
To me, it's like it's like an orbit. Like he's orbiting around the word. Yeah.
I love that. That's one of my favorite like starts of an entrance song. That like robot voice, LA Night. I like that.
LA Night is
more like a dying ET when I did it, but you know.
But that's pretty cool too, though, Mike.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All the kids loved it when ET was dying.
When ET fucking died.
When he fucking just croaked. People like just cheered.
That was the name of the script for the unmade sequel. ET fucking dies.
Just fucking dies. LA Knight is a pretty fun wrestler. They people are like, oh, he's just copying the Rock. Kevin Nash, like, he's just copying the Rock and Steve Austin. Like, if you can copy those guys, you do it. Like, of course, if you can pull it off.
I love Kevin Nash 99% of the time, but that was a take I
Yes, Kevin Nash, exactly. I'm the exact same way. Kevin Nash, very cool guy.
Try Wolf says, "Jeff, making everyone start talking about how they hate Hollow Knight now has destroyed Discord. I can't believe this, but I agree with Mike. Yeah, there was a big fight on Discord. Everybody used to be friends, and now they're not, and it's your fault."
I never encourage this. Like, I'll discourage it. If you like Hollow Knight, shut the fuck up.
I don't know how to harp on. I don't want to harp on this. I just don't get it. I don't get how.
I just need to really play it.
Say anything. I'm not asking for you to say anything. I just can't believe that anybody who likes the Castlevania Metroidvania games just doesn't like Hollow Knight. It's the same thing, but it's just the same thing, but like better in some ways, or at least just different in some ways. Not in any substantial ways that you could go from "these are my favorite games" to "I don't even like this." It's just not possible.
I've never said I don't like it. Maybe I did.
Right.
I might have in the
Well,
past.
maybe I'm projecting onto Dan now, but
Yeah.
Empanada Eater says, thanks for all the great podcasts and streams. I'm planning to build my first PC at the end of the month. Any tips / things you wish you would have known? I'll let you tackle that one, Jeff.
I mean, listen, it's no secret. Buy the best video card you can afford. Like, that is where your budget should go. The best video card you could afford, and then everything else, make it make sense from there.
As a big idiot, it turns out that you have to kind of build around that, though. Like, your certain motherboards and certain power supplies are needed for specific CPUs
exactly.
and graphic cards.
Yes, you work backwards from there. Make sure that you have a decent amount of overhead on your PSU, your power supply. Because, you might upgrade one day and then your shit might be crashing. You're like, why is this crashing?
Yeah.
It's, oh, you
Make
don't
sure
have
you
enough
get a
power.
big enough case that you can upgrade too, because that shit keeps getting bigger.
Yep. And then I just don't get too fancy. Get the stuff that people recommend. Go to PC Part Picker. If it all lines up, usually the things that have the most ratings and the highest rating are the right choice. But, you could look out for sales right now for SSDs. And then maybe don't go with DDR5 RAM even quite yet. Like, you're fine with DDR4 RAM for now. So that's that. There you go. And the new generation of SSDs and stuff that are like, oh, this is going to be the really fast SSD. You don't need that either. So save your money on those things.
Lots of LEDs though; those are important.
Yes.
Steph Tendo says, "Can you do a draft for worst games between you two?" I feel like we have so much more to learn about the worst video games, Jeff.
Yeah, our journey has only just really begun. Yeah, it's
someday.
It's a lifelong curse that we're in. So
I mean, you realize we keep this up, like within 5 years, we will be authorities on like the worst video games. It's exciting stuff, huh?
Yeah, and it's going to happen because again, it's a lifelong curse.
It sure is. That's it for Super Chats for now. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we are going to decide the best games of. It's just 1998.
Yeah, small year probably.
Yeah, probably won't take too long. We'll be right back after this.
I'm good for the rest.
Yep, no problem. Go ahead. Yeah, DDR5 is getting a lot cheaper for sure. That's true. Everything's getting cheaper because no one's fucking building PCs. So that's the biggest recommendation is you're right to build right now. If you've been holding off, go now, build now before the market bounces back because everything's on fire sale basically because no one's buying anything. So good choice to wait.
Go full her mentality, whatever like most people is buying, and it's well reviewed. You won't miss with that. Like
like the what is it, the 6700 XT or whatever that everyone loves. Everyone loves it for a reason because it's your best bang for your buck right now on the higher end.
I have the 6700 XT. The rating is pretty good and it works fine. I can run pretty much everything at like maximum detail, everything at 1080p, and it just works fine. Oh,
Impanadita already got the 4090. Okay, you're good then.
You're fucking, you're sad.
Hey, but
anything else, you're building up to that.
Yes, exactly. Everything is going to be keeping up with that for years, pretty much. Like, if that's the case, you need a big PSU. So I would even go at least like 1200, not even 1000. You want to go like 1200 at least. And
I remember Linus doing some testing when that thing, or when 3090 first came out. He was like, even if you have more than enough voltage running through this thing, you need even higher so that power spikes don't cause your entire system.
And that's the kind of thing that has happened to me in the past. And it's like, oh man, I thought this was enough, but it's not.
Yeah.
So I would just go straight to the 1500 PSU. It's going to be worth it in the long run. And it's not like, it's running at 1500 all the time. So
yeah, power supplies aren't that expensive. They're fairly priced.
Yep. And then just get a decent gaming CPU unless you're doing other kind of work, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. So
if you're doing multitasking stuff or like
all right,
and then and get pair it with a 4K monitor, because if you got a 4090 you better have a 4K monitor,
or like an ultra wide, something that but
but anything more than 2K, like you want more than 2K.
More than 2K. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
more than
I
a
would
2K,
love
more than a 2K pixel screen, basically, 2K equivalent.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
2K
Yeah.
is 1080p.
Okay, then what do I mean? 3K?
1440.
14, yeah, but 1440. What is there's got to be a K for that, right?
People mistakenly call it 2K, but they're wrong.
Yeah,
Okay, Sean is getting real big. Actually, here everyone calls that 2K.
Nobody calls that 2K.
Mike,
No.
you don't call it shit.
Yes, I do. We call, you know what we call 1080p? 1080p.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No
yeah.
one calls that 2K. What are you
4090 with
talking
the
about?
ultra wide. They're just gonna keep arguing with 1440p. That's good. That's fine. If you have two 1440p screens, that's good as well. Okay. I'm sorry. Someone just put in a naked
What the
person's
fuck are we
Baldur's
doing
Gate in my
here?
thing.
I forgot.
Yeah, no, I got it. We're right here. I'm just making sure that we are lined up, and
You
that
guys are going to do a pause for Christian and then get back into it.
that
It's
is
okay,
right.
it's okay.
No, yeah, I know. Hang on. Let me just get everything going here.
Never enough. This is
Okay.
enough.
By the way, Benji sent some stuff over, but we can probably wait for next week for that.
Yeah, we're going to have enough this week, I think.
Yeah. Thanks, so Benji.
Thank you, Benji. Next week we'll do that.
This is gonna be a bloodbath, brother. 1998.
I am ready to go. I'm gonna have a pause and then bring it back in.
Yeah, give me a wet pause.
And we're back, unfortunately, doing a podcast still. Best game in 1998. Best 5 games in 1998. That should
Right.
be easy. Should
In
be able
order.
to shave it down to 9, not just 5 games from that year. Mike, 1998's
Yeah.
pretty busy year. A lot of good games. I've been thinking about this one's gonna be tough because I didn't get back around to actually playing Ocarina of Time, so I'm gonna be going on my like old memory of that, and I'm not sure where I even place it anymore. But I don't know. Where do we start with this year?
Okay, I mean, there's let me say like the two big console ones here. There's one PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, Metal Gear Solid, and Ocarina of Time. Those are kind of the two of the first games I think of when I think about 1998. And part of why 1998 was so ridiculous was that we got these two big games that were very clearly amazing, very clearly representing the future of gaming, like immediately. And it came out like the same month. I remember both of them were in the same issue of EGM being reviewed that month, right? I remember just like reading. It's like, man, both these games are apparently the best games ever. That's incredible.
Yes, it was. It's like almost shocking sometimes. Like, oh yeah, those were happening at the exact same time, and they define gaming for me in a lot of ways. So, especially on the console side of things. I mean, honestly, like, and then Half-Life happened on PC. So you said Metal Gear and Ocarina of Time, right?
Yeah, and then Half-Life also. Were you doing a Google Doc, by the way?
I am. I have it ready to go. I'll bring it up here in a second. I just want to kind of get us the conversation started.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. There it is.
But yeah, I mean, that's the other one. Like, meanwhile, on PC of Half-Life, which is another incredibly important, obviously, the future of video games. So those three seem like very easy ones to shout out, and I do feel like almost everything else is maybe one tier below that, but maybe not even though, because there's a lot of other really big, important games.
I mean, here's the thing. I think we could very easily say the next 2 games, and then that's the list. So, why don't can we do some longer shots first?
You know what's funny? I just noticed now. Baldur's Gate came
Baldur's
out in
Gate,
1998.
1998. Yes.
Jeez, that's incredible.
Here's my longer shot, Mike. Banjo-Kazooie, 3D platformer I like quite a lot.
Yeah, plenty of years where this would be a top 5. I
Absolutely.
think.
Many like
Very
96 and 97 easily would have been in a top 5.
Definitely the best 3D platformer from this era that's not just Mario 64.
Yes, by a mile.
I still like Crash Bandicoot, but I know how you feel about Crash 3 also this year, by the way, I think.
Well, good luck to you, Crash 3.
Sorry, Warped.
No, I mean, Banjo-Kazooie better than all other 3D platformers except for Mario by a mile. And it's very, very good. And yet, that thing you said about being a tier below those other games, I think you're probably still right about that. So I'm putting it up there for now. But here's the thing. I know that there's one that you have a torch for.
Yep.
Should we? I mean, we got to, because I think it's unlikely that this list happens without that game being up there.
I have a giant torch for Grim Fandango for a long time, I would call it my favorite game ever.
Right.
Mega Man 3 kind of snuck up there now, Final Fantasy 14, but it's still always going to be very, very high up there for me. I think it's, LucasArts was just releasing all these incredible adventure games, and it really just peaked with Grim Fandango from Tiff Schafer with this incredible setting, this Day of the Dead style, these just incredibly sharp writing. And yeah, like all those games, funny, but was also able to really capture the kind of pulp Casablanca style vibe that it was going for, not doing it in an ironic way, like actually being able to capture that really well. There's still something very magical about Grim Fandango, even though it's a game where I know the solutions, I know what everyone's going to say. I played through it like over 10 times by now. It's ridiculous how just quality that game is.
This shouldn't be a long shot. Let me just say it. I'm not going to get the wave race treatment here. I should, though. 1080 snowboarding. Boy, any other year, I'm not even going to like pretend it's not going to be on there. I would just put it on there because I'm going to control the list, and that would be it. 1998's different, so it is on the long shot list for now. It's to me every other snowboarding game got so much wrong compared to what 1080 1080. So I almost said 1080p snowboarding.
1080p snowboarding.
1080 snowboarding understands that it's about the carving, but it's also about like the difficulty once you're in the air and actually making tricks feel like a feat. And that is a game that is so easy to get into. Moving through that world is a joy. The interaction between the snowboard and the snow is accurate to how, like, it's poetically accurate. Like, it feels the way you imagine it feels when you remember snowboarding. Then you try to do a 1080, and it's something that you have to practice and practice and practice because it is like a fighting game input, and it all needs to happen in this small window when you're in the air. And the joy of actually pulling that off, something I've only done a couple of times in my life, and I always imagine I'm going to go back and practice and be able to do that again. It is so ecstatic. You feel so amazing because you're like, I learned how to do this thing and pulled it off, and it looks so cool. 1080 snowboarding is a special game. It's just 1998 is so jam-packed.
1998 is rough. I mean, how about this, Jeff? Because we do U.S. releases. Pokemon Red and Blue came out in the U.S. in 1998.
Jesus. Yeah.
Which was just the biggest deal ever. I was so primed and ready to just get fully absorbed by that, and I got absorbed by it. I mean, the whole Pokemon thing, but I played so much of my copy of Pokemon Red. I basically memorized the strategy guide. Like, you could tell me, you can say a Pokemon's name, I would tell you, like, I would tell you, like, what level they learned their best moves, stuff like that. I just would just read that thing religiously. I was just so incredibly into it. And obviously, Pokemon, we're still talking about. Guess what our last podcast was all about last time? Still just talking about Pokemon after all these years.
Yep. Mike, are we going to put Resident Evil 2 on this list?
Gosh, it's very good. I wish I have, my experience with the original Resident Evil 2 isn't amazing. Recently I went back and played Resident Evil 1, the original, and loved it. And 2 is just supposed to be a better version. It is just another, wow, I can't believe how ridiculously good this year is. Maybe an importance factor's not quite there because it is just a refined, maybe better version of Resident Evil 1. For a long time, probably considered the best in that series until you had Resident Evil 4 come out, I think. Another very good game. I don't know. Again, 1998 is just so ridiculous. It's hard to say. Kind of similar in that vein and in that tier is F-Zero X.
Yeah, it is in that tier as well. It's like it is such a... it's the fastest game on N64, like in terms of like that 60 frames per second was actually relatively rare on N64. And so you got a game that prioritized that. And then it's like it knew, well, if we're going to have that, we need to make sure we pair it up with that sense of speed. And it's exhilarating when you have when you're passing all those other vehicles on those very simple tracks, but it didn't really matter because you're going so fast that the polygons just moving past your face at that speed added this sense of like your imagination fills in those gaps. And so I like the way it looks. I like the way it played. I really like F-Zero X a lot. But again, tough year.
Quite a few fighting games that came out, like Street Fighter Alpha 3, I believe. X-Men versus Street Fighter, King of Fighters 98. I think the big one here is actually going to be Tekken 3. I think that came out.
Yeah, Tekken 3
came out
is
in the US.
fantastic.
It's fantastic. It's a very, very good game. Even I know I'm not a big Tekken guy. It's so obviously the best one of those that you could play on a PlayStation, or maybe even anywhere. I know, I held a torch for Virtual Fighter for a while. Asking now which one I want to go play. Maybe it's Tekken 3, actually.
Yeah, and Tekken 3 was the time when PlayStation was hitting the mainstream in a really hard way. It was like the pop culture, like object of power. And so people from all walks of life were getting into video games, and Tekken 3 was just waiting for them. Like, here's your fighting game. And it's like my older brothers were playing Tekken, and they never played fighting games. It just was everywhere. And that appeal was obvious in the game. And then it just was this really refined take on an already good fighting game series. This is probably the peak for Tekken, at least an early peak for Tekken. Tag tournament was great in a lot of ways, but for me, Tekken 3 was the high mark.
Yeah. I am so happy that Ridge Racer Type 4, although it came out in December 1990 in Japan, didn't come out in the US until 1999. That's a relief. A couple big RPG. There's a big one here.
There is a big one, and I haven't touched it, but I wonder how you like if this is the one you played. Now. Okay, Suikoden 2.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that actually also gets saved because 1998 in Japan.
Okay, 99. Okay, cool. All right then. So then, what are you thinking then?
Well, it's not even RPG because I just saw this and we realized, man, oh God, yeah, StarCraft.
Yeah, so that's one. That's the one that I was like, if we say StarCraft and then Grim Fandango, the list is done. I think, but I don't know.
Well, look, people have yelled at us on other lists for maybe not glossing over, but snubbing RTS a little bit. But like, it continues for me a little bit, Jeff. And I'm not a giant RTS guy. I am usually so good, by the way, about liking pretty much every genre out there. Right. So I don't want to get too much guff for it, but RTS is one. I mean, I just never am super attached to, but man, StarCraft is big. Man, is it important. It still is, like, it does hit in a way, right? Like, I get it with StarCraft.
Yeah, and it's I get it as well. At that time, I had chosen Command and Conquer, and that's what I spent my time with through those years. So I was like, oh yeah, I see StarCraft happening, and boy, that looks even bigger than what's happening over here. But I missed out on it.
Couple of RPGs that did come out in 1998, even in the US.
I get it now. Final Fantasy Tactics, is that?
That's actually no. That would have been 97, believe it or not. Xenogears, though.
Okay.
People love Xenogears.
Yeah, they do.
People talk about that all the time. Still, I never quite got into Xenogears as much as these people. I mean,
is that the one where you kill God?
Oh, that's a lot of them. But yes, this is the one, though, where like the game's kind of unfinished at the end. So they just sort of start like showing text and you fight some bosses, which people describe that to me. I'm like, you still love this game, even with that giant flaw? And they're like, oh, yeah. So Xenogears, people still talk about it. It means a lot to people. That's fine. Obviously, not very many people have played this game. Panzer Dragoon Saga came out in 1998. That's interesting. Probably the last Saturn game we'll ever talk about.
Yeah, but I played that. I didn't play all the way through, but I enjoyed the 8 hours or 5 hours probably that I put into that. That's a good game.
It's a very cool game.
Yeah,
I think it's very cool. Oh God, Gran Turismo is 1998 in the US. That's messed up.
Yeah. I don't know, and this list is already. So I mean, here, let me put some of those on there. Gran Turismo. What were some of the other ones? StarCraft's a big one.
Yes. Xenogears, but it's funny to see the games that like sold really well back then, and now like Tomb Raider 3, right? Who talks about Tomb Raider 3 anymore?
Yep, I do not.
Now, Unreal was 1998. Remember Unreal?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I do wish it would get a remaster treatment like we just got with Quake II. It'd be fun to see Unreal guzzied up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think
if there's anything else I missed.
Yeah, I think that's a. Why don't we look to our community now, see what they say? Maybe they'll point out some things we've missed. We'll get an idea which ones they're really excited about.
Yep, just give me a second to get that set up. It'll just take a moment.
Chat was right, Mike. Tactics is 98 in the US.
Really?
Yep.
Oh shit.
They were almost, they were like 6 months apart. It was a huge gap.
A
Okay.
huge gap. Final.
Well, for
Fate.
back then, you know.
Sure, I know. That's
All right.
it.
I think that's lined up. Okay, well, while you reconcile with that new fact, Yakuza Wolf says Metal Gear redefined the way stories would be told in gaming and has impacted the industry in ways that can still be felt to today. While the gameplay hasn't held up the best, it's still better than Twin Snakes, and that has to count for something. I still like playing Metal Gear Solid 1. I know people say that's an age grade. I'm like, I don't know. This is fine.
I think that's a complete lie. I think it's aged incredibly well.
Yeah.
I think it makes Advantage of being a PlayStation 1 game maybe better than any PlayStation 1 game. It makes that PlayStation 1 aesthetic just absolutely sing. And when you try to do things to make it like modern, like add a first person mode like they did, first person aiming like they did in Twin Snakes, like breaks the game because it's not designed for that. It's designed to work with this top down perspective mostly in mind, and it works so well. I played through this game multiple times throughout the years. It's never felt aged to me. I love it. I can't wait to play it again when that collection comes out.
Alex Wolf says Ocarina of Time is my first game ever and clearly the best Zelda game ever, even without my nostalgic obsession. Damn good game. Beef Hammer says some scrambled words. I can't read. Crash Bandicoot 3. Hospice says
Jeff.
Pokemon Red and Blue, incredible core formula remade a bunch of times, and the first 151 are still beloved. Jat Wolf says Grim Fandango. Rock Party says StarCraft. Wolf Just McBasketball says Ocarina of Time, Metal Gear Solid, StarCraft, Brood Wars, Banjo-Kazooie. This should be the list. Flabotron says Half-Life was the first grown-up video game I played after I bought my first gaming magazine in late 1997. What an opening. The German version had robots instead of Marines because that was the height of video games caused violence craze over here. He mentioned StarCraft as well and Metal Gear Solid. Razzle Jazzle says, just went to the 1998 Video Games Wikipedia page to refresh my memory, and hot damn, what a loaded year this is. Of the games I don't yet see posted in this thread, I'm going to shout out 1080 Snowboarding and Spyro the Dragon, one we didn't mention, Mike. How do you feel about Spyro?
Spyro this year.
Spyro is 1998.
That's insane. That is a very good game. I do like Spyro 1 because I replayed that in that remake form. It was a very good remake, but those are pretty literal remakes.
Yep.
And I played it back then too. It's definitely the best PlayStation 1 that are trying to do more of the free area.
Yes, it's a very good PlayStation 3D platformer.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, but it's still very good.
But they did a good job giving Spyro a fun set of abilities. His tackle, his dash, that stuff all feels good. That's a good character. I like the way he looks. The design is very sharp. This year is so good that a big good game like Spyro the Dragon, I just forgot that it was this year. That's insane.
Let's see. Slane says nobody talks about this game anymore, but Shogo Mobile Armor Division ruled.
Shogo.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know about Shogo.
For some reason, that game captivated me as a kid. I played through it a lot. There are just normal human shooter sections, but there are also
first-person shooter developed by Monolith Productions. Interesting. Might be one. There's just like multiple monoliths, though. This is the monolith that made.
I was trying to figure out which monolith.
This is the current monolith, though. This is the Middle-earth Shadow of War monolith. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Man.
Wow.
The Via's Wolf 5 says Tim Schafer released a game, so obviously it should be on the top 5. Grim Fandango Game of the Year. Big Tony says Resident Evil 2. Fusion says Half-Life. Let's see. Benji Wolf says Ocarina of Time, baby. Ronnie Von Donkensteiner says Bomberman Hero.
I do kind of like Bomberman Hero, which I was supposed to be a bonk game or something else at first, and they just made it Bomberman, so that's why I played.
Wait, is this really only a one-player game?
Yeah, because it wasn't meant to be a Bomberman game, but it's actually kind of a lot of fun.
I should play that game.
It is much more of like a 3D platformer.
I think I rented
game.
it, but I don't remember a single thing about it. I should check that. It was meant to be a bonk game. That could be cool.
It was bonk or something. It was definitely meant to be something else. I forget if it was bonk or something. It might have just been straight up bonk though.
Rumham says Banjo-Kazooie. Boppers Gate 3 says, not to throw shade at some of these submissions, but as much as I love Pokemon, do not let nostalgia blind you from the fact that Red and Blue are literally broken and are riddled with glitches and bugs. and it's had 2 remakes to skew the perception of the original games. It's a good Mount Rushmore pick for its importance, but a bad Game of the Year pick for its technical downfalls as an actual game. I don't know. I don't remember experiencing anything like that when I played
there
it.
are bugs, but a lot of it is like missing no. People did stumble upon missing no. Some did, but we all did that because we learned about it, and it was fun to stumble across that bug. There are other games with bugs, like the evasion stat just doesn't work in Final Fantasy 3 on Super Nintendo, right? But who cares? So,
I'm going to have to start because we're getting a lot of repeats now. So I'm going to try to pick out some things that stick out. Kafka Wolf says Spyro the Dragon. Fio says Banjo-Kazooie. Wolfie G just wants to get an woo. We wanted to have
where was London?
Octo says Grim Fandango. Vision says Thief.
Is Thief the Dark Project this year?
Yeah, check on that.
Wow, look at that. So it's Rogue Squadron, but Rogue Squadron gets completely overshadowed by Rogue Leader for me later. But Thief the Dark Project, very cool game. That's a game I actually put up for a poll in the Game Game Club because I want to go back to it. I think in some ways it still does that kind of stealth thing better than modern games do. Thief was really cool. It deserves a shout out for sure.
Breadfish created the Game Mess logo inside of StarCraft. If you want to gaze over here real quick. Yeah, it looks really good.
I'm taking a look.
Thank
you. That's amazing, Breadfish. Thank you.
I like that a lot. A lot more Ocarina of Times, a lot more Metal Gears. Bugadillo says easy game of the year goes to Quest 64.
Wow.
And he has a picture here of looks like a really old computer monitor or something playing Quest 64 with a Busch beer and then a salad like mixing bowl with like 8, 9, 10 copies of Quest 64 in there.
Incredible.
It is incredible.
What a feast.
Screaming Madden says, since Madden will surely get robbed again, Madden NFL 99 getting the sub this time, I'll echo my support for Banjo-Kazooie. Let's see.
A lot of Banjo-Kazooie love.
Of course, it's a very, very, very good game.
Very good game.
For
a while, I have to admit I didn't get it, actually. I didn't come around and be like, okay, I get it, until Rare Replay came out, I think.
It's the Rare art style. It has to grow on you a little bit.
It does a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, I think back then I was like, well, this just isn't as good as Mario 64, so what do I care?
Sure.
And now I'm able to move past that.
Right. And now it's like, oh, this is better than every other 3D platformer, including Crash 3 Warped. Let's see. The former Boomer Wolf 4 mentions Red and Blue. Tekken 3 from Dr. Ryan. To Matt Rare Monkey. Oh, Fallout 2 and Baldur's Gate from Matt Rare Monkey, as well as some others that we've had before, but Fallout 2, probably another one that we're not gonna. I don't know. I never played Fallout 2.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't, and I haven't played. I didn't beat either of them. I think generally people just like Fallout 1 more than Fallout 2. Maybe I'm making.
I know
that
people
up,
love Fallout. I do know that.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Always Be Clothing says, I'm not going to pander to Mike Grim Fandango Minotti.
That's your mistake.
I'm gonna ride the Metal Gear Solid bandwagon instead. Cass Bunker says Ocarina of Time. Benchwolf says Gex. Enter the Gecko.
Would this be the 2D one, or is this the first 3D one?
I don't know. It's PlayStation.
That has to be. It has to be the 3D one.
I'm assuming it's 3D.
And 98 has to be incredible. We'll be able to check it out soon, right? We'll be able to see for ourselves how that's held up. Yeah, PlayStation. That's the first 3D one.
Let's see. I think Wong Gifts here is saying Parasite Eve, the actual best game of 1998. Didn't come out in the UK though, and he was stuck playing Body Harvest. So.
Oh my God, Parasite Eve is 1998. So is Medieval, Radiant Silvergun. Whoa, is this true? The original Dance Dance Revolution came out in 1999.
Can we put that on there?
No, not in North America.
Okay.
1999.
Okay, all right, true. American Dragon 98 says Shining Force 3 Scenario 1, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Ocarina of Time, Metal Gear Solid. Dan Park, the beta says, or Bravo. I don't know my letters like that. Hello, Jeff, the Chris Cornell of gaming, Grubb. And I'll take it. And Mike, the Donald Duck of gaming, Minotti. Almost certainly. Sure. Yeah, definitely. The series that revolutionized fighting gets its third installment on May 1st, 1998 was an explosion for the series needed. Let's talk about Tekken 3. Here's one that I was going to say, but I know I'll have much better hope getting its sequel on to a list like this eventually. Jethrin says, my favorite game this year is definitely Star Wars Rogue Squadron, which is very good.
It's very. I like Rogue Leader so much more.
I know. I get. Well, I mean, Rogue Leader is like just such a gorgeous looking game,
Right.
and
I
then
think
it has
Rogue
a lot
Leader
of.
will have a shot.
Yes, Rogue Leader will
I
have a
remember
shot.
Rogue Squadron. Maybe I just wasn't good enough yet. I remember having a hard time with Rogue Squadron, especially those missions where it was like protect this caravan.
Yeah, the God, what are those missions called? Now I'm blanking.
Escort missions.
Escort missions. Escort missions are rough. They were rough. They were rough in that game. They're rough in every game. Gerbear says Panzer Dragoon Saga as well. Yes, and then it says Panzer Dragoon Saga is genuinely really good, and it's a shame not more people played it. Still relatively approachable, 15 to 20 hours at the point where JRPGs were starting to become 50+ hour epics. 6-inch, my darling, warrants a mention for that name alone. Haven't played it. Looks like one of those Phoenix Wright pervert games.
Nice.
Thanks, Gerbear.
Mega Man Legends did in fact come out in the U.S. in 1998.
Wow.
It's another very good game. Probably doesn't really have a shot here, I'm afraid.
Teriyaki Blues says Space Station Silicon Valley. Nick Turbo.
I never quite got that one.
Yeah, I never really even played it. I never really even tried. I know I would confuse it with what was the other one with the funky name back then?
Right. There was 2 of them. Yes.
Yeah.
Space Station Silicon and Body Harvest.
Yes. And I would
mix those 2 up constantly.
Yes. Nick Turbo talks about how he wasn't born, and then he says he played Banjo-Kazooie eventually on Xbox 360, and he's like, that's a top 5 game in 1998. Lenny Cool Dick Denver says, aside from Ocarina of Time, F-Zero X deserves it. Almost here to the end. Edward says Bomberman Hero, Service Game, Tekken 3, and NFL Blitz.
2 for Bomberman Hero. Good on Bomberman
and Edward
Hero.
Specifically says the soundtrack alone. Christian says The King of Fighters 98. Isaac Clark says a NASCAR 99 from EA
Are you sure
Sports.
Christian just said King of Fighters 98 and didn't yell at us for since he knows we're not going to put it on there?
It's in all caps, so
okay, so he's up. He is mad.
Yes,
okay,
definitely.
Yes, the King of Fighting 98. God damn it!
There he is.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if there's anything else worth calling out here. Eventually, Turbo Sean does say, "Can you humor me for like 5 seconds?" Mega Man Legends.
1, 2.
It's my favorite game. At least one the honorable mentions, please.
5. Look, it is very fun. I like Mega Man Legends a lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right.
I just want to see his name up there.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
There you go. First, you got it.
Okay. Metal Gear Solid, Zelda Ocarina of Time, Half-Life. These are locks for the top 5 games in 1998.
Oh yeah.
On the short list,
Super
and
locks.
let me know if I'm missing anything. Grim Fandango, Banjo-Kazooie, 1080 Snowboarding, Pokemon Red and Blue, Resident Evil 2, F-Zero X, Tekken 3, Gran Turismo, StarCraft, Xenogears. I'm gonna put.
Now look, Jeff. I want Griffithing on the list. I don't want him to be. I don't want you to just be like, yeah, sure. And then later, when people complain about the list, be like, well,
No.
I'm
not gonna do no. Okay, well, Grim Fandango. One of the first things I think I ever heard you say is it's one of your favorite. It's like your favorite game of all time, and you have not wavered from that, other than say Mega Man 3 has jumped above that. You still love Grim Fandango is going to get a pass on that. I'm not going to be like, oh, Mike forced me. I don't have a game like that other than 1080 Snowboarding on this list. And 1080 Snowboarding, and we can go check my top 100. I don't think it was in like my top 20. Maybe it was in my top 30, and maybe not even. So yeah, you're going to get like your darling on a list like this. I think I would too, but I don't have a darling like that for 1998.
Well, let's do this. So those 3 locks, let's figure that out, and then we'll figure out who's getting kind of this 5th spot, I guess.
Yeah,
okay. Let me put it first: Metal Gear Solid and Ocarina of Time. Let me do that.
Okay. So wait, is that your proposal, Metal Gear Solid and Ocarina of Time, or what?
No, I'm saying, what do you think?
Again, at the time it would have been Ocarina of Time easy. These days, I think I'd probably go Metal Gear Solid.
I think Metal Gear Solid is the best game of the best year. Well, it's not my favorite game because but Metal Gear Solid is so undeniable to me. I think, again, I want to play that version of the game still. Whereas with Ocarina of Time, I'm like, I don't want to play that on the Nintendo 64 anymore. I'll play that 3DS version. Fine. Thank you. Obviously, Ocarina of Time is Ocarina of Time. It's still a ton of fun. Even though for some reason I don't have like this place in my heart for it the way I do some of my other favorite Zelda games. It's undeniable. It's an undeniable game. And I will put Ocarina of Time before Half-Life. I will say I like Half-Life a lot. Having replayed Half-Life, that game is definitely strongest in the first half when you are just kind of absorbed in a game doing environmental storytelling for one of the first times ever, and that's neat. And then it also, what starts off, it feels a lot more survival horror, which is to the game's benefit. And then later on, it does kind of just become more of another shooter of the time, just a really well-made one, and that's fine. But like Half-Life does kind of do this, you know, Metal Gear Solid and Ocarina of Time, or just like start here and they kind of just maintain.
Well, and they like expand on themselves in major ways.
In fact, maybe
real quick,
even Grim Fandango above Half-Life. I don't know, maybe.
We'll see. I put Einhander on here as 1B. I don't even think Einhander came out in 1998.
I think it was actually last year when we forgot to say anything about
but still,
Einhander. But
okay.
we love Jeff. Look, we've been yelled at about Einhander before.
I love Einhander. I love Einhander.
It's a great game.
Yes,
People, they're wrong.
Yes.
But
oh yeah, right. That's the boomer pick, isn't it? Okay, yeah. Einhander's fantastic. I think Metal Gear Solid's going to be number 1. I think Zelda is definitely number 2. Let's put the numbers on the outside here. I mean, if you, I would like to move Half-Life down because I think it's seminal, important, and not as fun as a lot of other games on this list.
Grim Fandango number 3, Half-Life number 4, and now it is a a deadly fight for number.
Here's my
5.
proposal. Panzer Dragoon Saga for number 5.
No.
I really like it a lot. And I think it's like I don't know, it's just such a good, fun RPG from that time when so many others are going in the wrong direction. But, well, I mean, what do you want to put up there then?
Okay, so my heart would be Pokemon Red and Blue. My brain and maybe even my guilt says it should probably be Tekken 3 or StarCraft.
Okay, I can give you Tekken 3. I don't know if I want to just like put StarCraft on there because we feel bad. I don't know if I want to do that.
I kind of do. Guilt.
Yeah, guilt's number 5. Okay.
Banjo-Kazooie is also in that category.
I mean, I'll take Banjo-Kazooie if I can get it.
You'll take it if you can get it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get Banjo-Kazooie on this list. But Tekken 3 is very, very, very good.
Tekken 3's. I mean, you haven't talked a lot about like why you don't care much about StarCraft. I would like to hear a little bit more about why you don't want on the list.
I mean, it's just like I said, I was playing something else at the time, and I didn't need to like go be like, oh well, I'm gonna play a different RTS now. It's like, no, I already have my Command and Conquers, and then I played StarCraft a little bit, and I also played StarCraft 64, completely different experience. Although I had fun with StarCraft 64, playing with friends on split screen. That was stupid and wild. But I don't know. At this point, it's one of those things that's like its appeal has fizzled on me over time, and it was never that appealing to me in the first place. This is a personal feeling about it. It's not like I am lambasting the judgment that it's of course, it's an important big game.
These are all important big games in one way or another.
I mean,
it's very difficult.
I get StarCraft being up there. It's like probably was the one that looks right. Is that what we're doing here, though?
I don't know. Tekken 3 can look right also. I will say Panzer Dragoon Saga would not look right to me. I would say that.
Yeah, but I think it'd be a fun, interesting pick for 5. I think it adds a lot of it's a good spice on that list.
It is spicy. I will give you that. Maybe, but as you know, my Crohn's, I can only handle so much spice, Jeff.
Panzer Dragoon Saga is very
fun.
Yes.
I have some spicy news that might help you guys a little here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Einhander was May 5th, 98 in the U.S.
All right. It's not going to be 9.
Come on, put the boomer pick on there.
Yeah,
you know you want to.
That looks right. That looks right.
Get the engagement, baby.
God, Einhander's so good.
It would be so good. People would be so mad.
Fuck the people.
Einhander does rule. Tekken 3 is very, very good. Look, I got my Grim Fandango. What do you want to do, Jeff? What do you want to do?
Like I said, I mean, I want to put 1080 snowboarding up there, but that's not going to happen. So, I mean, yeah, I like know like
how badly do you want to put 1080 snowboarding on there?
Real bad. But it's like I do.
Then go ahead, buddy.
I do recognize like
You get it though, yeah.
I got
Now
Wave-
that the
like, I
wor-
got
now the
Wave Race, and-
responsibility is there. The
Yeah,
weight of it is crushing you.
And the year we got Wave, like we can scroll back here. Like, yeah, I don't feel bad about leaving any of these games off. Maybe Neo Turf Masters, but like
feel
Neo
bad
Turf
about
Masters
Kirby
doesn't
Superstar,
look
but you
more
did.
right than Wave Race 64. Like that's of course it doesn't. So I just don't feel bad about any of the stuff we left off here. Here I put up 1080, and we're leaving off Banjo-Kazooie, Pokemon, Resident Evil 2, Tekken 3, Gran Turismo, StarCraft, and Panzer Dragon Saga. But now that I read all those other games, you're right. Panzer Dragon Saga doesn't sound so right anymore.
You said you didn't beat it. Not that I know that's been a sore subject this week.
Well, I
but-
mean, yeah, no, I didn't beat a lot of these games. I beat Banjo-Kazooie, and I beat 1080 Snowboarding, and Red versus...
People are
Okay,
beating- wait a second.
I beat a lot of these games, actually.
Yeah, you beat a lot of these games, but not that one.
Not that one, yeah. I just really like it.
I could go.
Most people are beating it right now.
That wasn't me.
That was me.
All right, so what you were about to say, people in chat were saying something?
They want to do a poll. Why don't we do a poll for funsies? Between like, what are we really thinking about here? Tekken 3. Well, you could do it. Can we do more than 2 in a poll?
Yes.
Do Tekken 3, 10A snowboarding, and StarCraft. I'm curious. I think that's what we're actually thinking about
I
here,
think
right?
it's gotta be StarCraft for a poll like that. We'll see.
Well, it's not binding.
Is there
I don't know.
anything else we want to consider? Gran Turismo? No. Pokemon?
Good. I kind of want to consider Pokemon. I like Pokemon a lot.
If we put Pokemon on this list, it's gonna win.
You think?
Yes, I guarantee it. Actually,
Man,
do you just want to see? Should we just see
maybe
it?
we should just make Pokemon number 5. Actually,
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's definitely one that would probably not get much, like ire from people. Look at it already destroyed.
if that's our goal, is the people please.
Yeah,
Which,
like that's not.
I mean, that's it. Pokemon Red and Blue is definitely my favorite game of those 4, personally. But I already kind of want to look. I got a big win here. I don't want to.
No,
Man.
I mean, Pokemon Red and Blue is not going to look out of place on this list in
No.
any way.
Giant, big, important deal. Man, it's funny because you're right. Pokemon Red and Blue got away with it, and then like the other ones are pretty much tied. Although I'm surprised Tekken 3, which we have been yelled at about constantly, is in last place.
Yeah,
That's kind of funny.
fighting game fans, they're loud, but there's not a lot of them.
But yeah, they're loud and annoying, and I heard their hygiene's not great.
Yeah, they fucking stink.
Yeah.
That's the Smash players. Don't talk about the rest of us.
I'm probably putting Pokemon Red and Blue up there. That actually probably is right.
I think that's right.
Yeah, okay.
I think that'll do it. I mean, it's freaking Pokemon Red and Blue. Even though it like came here 2 years later than I mean, that game freaking made the ancient Game Boy relevant again. They had to make like new versions of the Game Boy. Then we had a Game Boy Colors because this was a hit. We probably had a Game Boy Advance because this was a hit. It basically like redirected the course of Nintendo and gaming history.
Yep. And I when I look at the list again, it's like as usually that, and that feels right to me. That's totally
Yeah.
fine. And yeah, this was always going to be a tough year to leave stuff off, but it's like, you know, we weren't even talking up Resident Evil 2 that much. Like, and that game didn't stand a chance of making the list. Like, a lot of games weren't going to make the list. So here we are. Let's go make some people mad on Twitter. I'll post that right now. There we go.
Yeah, I like this. So for the audio listeners, number 1, Metal Gear Solid. Number 2, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Number 3, Grim Fandango. Number 4, Half-Life. Number 5, Pokemon Red and Blue. So, yeah, there you go. That seems right to me. I think if you play all 5 of those games, you'll have a good time. Don't worry, everybody. Adventure games got bad after this it's basically forever, except for Phoenix Wright. So I'm done.
I don't think Phoenix Wright. Well, maybe Phoenix Wright. Maybe one of them could make a list once. Maybe we'll see.
Maybe we'll see.
I don't know.
There's some really weird, oddly bad year.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That is going to do it for the best games of 1998. We're going to go back. We're just going to do 1999 next time, where it's going to be Dreamcast domination. I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Soul Calibur.
Mike, you know what we should do, and I don't know if we should do this on Game S or Giant Bomb. Now that we're getting near the end of the Switch, we should do the top 100 games available to buy on the Switch.
I was thinking something similar. I think that might be a good time.
It could be like an end of the year
I think
sort
we
of
can
thing,
do
right?
it.
Like that could be we take a week off and we record that the week before, and that could be like a big
Yeah.
episode or something like
We'll
that.
figure it out.
So,
Let's wait for them to announce the new Switch, which will hopefully happen. Then we
Okay.
can really figure that out.
sounds good to me. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, we're gonna talk about the games we've been playing. All right, there we go.
All right. Who would have thought that Mike's the mic ability or the lack of ability to like compromise was actually a shield of responsibility for you, Chef. Like you didn't have to like think about it. That's kind of crazy. He was protecting you.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
not like it's not like he was like imposing his like takes on you. He was actually protecting you from you to think about like getting like a number 5 in this list that nobody's gonna.
I'm
like.
a
Absolutely.
hero, really.
yeah. If you think about it, absolutely. I mean, for me, the games I feel strongest about. Number 1 and number 2, like I'm good. Like Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid, Zelda: Ocarina of Time, we're good there. Even 1080 snowboarding, obviously, but I mean, I recognize Metal Gear Solid and Zelda. After that, it's like, oh yeah, let's figure out the rest of this list. But those are the games for sure. Okay,
Great. Jump right back into it,
Number
Jeff.
one.
I am good to jump right back in. Let's do it right after this little break of silence.
This silence has to be cold.
And we're back. We're
I'm still doing
chilly.
cold noises.
Yes, he's
still,
doing
sorry.
cold noises. All right, Christian, do you put the like those breaks at the end of the episode like I used to?
Yeah.
I don't listen back, so I don't know, but it's cool. All right,
Yeah, I do
fantastic.
put
So,
them.
so people will get the jokes eventually. All right, yeah. So Mike, what have you been playing?
Oh gosh, lots of things. Been trying to squeeze in as much Baldur's Gate 3 time as I can, which like still isn't a ton, but it's still that just kind of beginning first like several hours is still a lot of fun. Really getting your bearings, discovering more party members. I discovered a devil mommy. Very
Ooh.
excited about her.
I am
Made a-
desperate to meet her.
You should be. Yeah, I made a spot for her on my team right away. Like, you come right on in. You there. The Warlock nerd, you're out.
Yeah. And don't worry about your step. If you happen to step on me, accidents happen.
Yeah, it's all we understand. It's completely okay. But no, that game just continues to just really impress me with the depth of the mechanics and its surprisingly amazing production values. Really am enjoying it. Kind of beginning to learn a bit more of the ins and outs of combat, which I think can be the trickiest thing here. Like the social stuff you get, like, yeah, roll a dice and I have modifiers to see if I do a conversation. There's a lot that can go on with combat, even though at first you're just like, cast a spell. Different rules and different like measures for success that I'm used to. Like, especially early on, you're like chances of hitting aren't great a lot of the times. Like you're gonna miss. You play a tactics game. If I'm playing a Fire Emblem, you almost don't go in for the attack unless you know it's going to work. And here you're like, okay, we're going to be a little vulnerable here, but it's probably going to be okay because I can do this or that and whatnot. So it all
Right, you're
works
gonna.
out just
It's
fine.
like you need to quickly learn about how can I get advantage and things like that. Like you have to think
Right.
about that.
You have to think about, well, these characters should try to get high ground if they can.
Yep.
And hey, as much fun as it is to only pick spells with damage numbers on them, maybe this one that puts grease everywhere is actually very important.
Right, and having a bard is actually like, well, that can actually do something. And it's like, yeah,
I
absolutely,
did
I can.
because my main character's a cleric, so that one of those first party members you get, Shadow Heart, right?
Yes.
She was a cleric too. I'm like, well, this is redundant, and I want her in my party still for reasons. So I made her
Because she's
a
racist,
bard.
and that's important to you.
She's like said one mean thing about the bigger jerk character, right? It's okay to be racist if the one person you know likes that is a meanie.
I don't know about that
Never
one.
mind. She's old news. I like Devil Mommy. She doesn't seem racist at all yet.
Fantastic. That's great news. I'm happy for you about that.
Right.
Okay.
But I made her a bard instead. Since I
Oh,
didn't have
okay.
another
So
cleric.
and that's like, what does that entail? Like, you just go in the menu or what?
No, so there's actually a quest you kind of stumble. You stumble upon a character if you just explore a bit around that very starting area, and he will go to your camp and he will do things like let you change your character's class or revive dead party members.
Mike, here's my theory.
Yes, sir.
There's like this backlash towards sex scenes in movies these days. Like today I saw a tweet about like, I tried to watch Oppenheimer with my family and there's 3 sex scenes. Oh no, I have to run away. It's like, oh my God. Video games seem to be like, we'll take care of it for you.
Da, da, da.
With your dick hanging out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. With your option C dick genitalia.
This game is out and loud and proud about fucking constantly, and it is having a clear beneficial effect on its sales and its excitement that people have for it.
I mean, no joke. The turning point for people talking about this game more was literally when they showed the bear sex scene. Like, yeah, it's a joke and it's funny, but it's also actually incredibly effective marketing.
Right. It's like, oh, okay, so I can bring that sort of fun, an archive of our own sort of fan fiction sex
Penile.
scene. Yes, humor and storytelling and fun, playful experiences with sex into my gaming, where it should have been for a long time now. No, this game's like, yeah, we are going to treat it that way, and we're not going to ever shame you for it. And so here we are, and it is. Boy, it's raking in the money, and I think it's a huge part of it. So, what's been your experience with that so far? Has it mostly just been like, oh, this character's naked, or are you fucking everything that moves?
I haven't actually had too much of that come up yet. No one's come on to me as of this moment.
Is the specter there, though? Is it like, oh, it's possible, maybe? Or like, are you thinking about it? I don't know.
I mean, I am. Obviously, I am. Yeah,
like that's how I play, too,
I did tell you, like, oh, I need a shadow heart in my party more so that she can be here to approve of me, right? So that
Exactly.
someday she'll approve of me. That's how it works. You approve of me so much that just, things happen. Exactly. It's like, it's something I think about. I was like there a little bit where I was like, I'm tired of these sex scenes in these RPGs are a little silly. But now I think about more like, no, I get it. Especially with this level of animation, it's going to look a bit better than the weird, like, rubber dolls rubbing against each other we had in the Mass Effect and Dragon Age days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sure, let's go for it.
My other question is, I asked this of Bailey as well. What recommendations do you have for getting into this game? Because I am I'm always about to boot it up, but I have other games I'm trying to wrap up as well, so I'm not like rushing into Baldur's Gate 3. But when I have like booted up, I'm like, okay, there is a lot here, and it is a little bit intimidating. How do I like limit that stuff? What should I focus on to like just push through those feelings?
One thing that I really like about this game, I think you can't play it this way, is you do not play it as a go to your quest log kind of game, right? Like maybe you'll look at a map and it'll tell you like there's a quest over there, and that's okay. But it is so much better just to actually kind of wander around, and you are just going to naturally stumble across interesting things and like important main quest line things. But just that, and also like if you need to save scum a bit, especially as you're getting your bearings, that's completely fine. F5 is quick save. F8 is quick load, baby. Let's go. Especially combat early on, trying to figure that stuff out. There, the internet's always your friend with these things. There's tons of people who know better, who understand how these games work. Just if you don't understand exactly what a battle advantage check is or whatever, like Google it real quick, and there will be a thread. You don't even have to put the words Baldur's Gate 3 in it right now, and the Baldur's Gate 3 solution is going to come up at the moment, and it's going to be there to help you.
Are you letting the dice lie, or are you safe scumming? Not in a judgment-free zone.
No, So aside from that first time,
yes, when
I rolled the 1, when you needed a 2 or better to get Shadowheart in your party, aside from that, I've been letting the dice lie. I did build a character because I love passing those checks. So like I built a character that has those things. Again, Cleric has that inherent boost to your dice rolls, which is nice. So I generally am passing as many rolls as I can already, so I don't feel much of a need to worry about that. Chris, you want to say something?
See, there's like an option in the game. This on by default. It's called like karmatic dice.
Oh yeah,
the
right.
Game won't the game won't let you roll like go in a strike of bad rolls. So
or good rolls.
Really
yeah. It goes both ways.
Just bad rolls.
Is it
goes
okay?
both ways? Okay.
Yeah, I heard it was both ways.
Pretty
But
sure it's just bad rolls. But
Right.
I don't know. Well,
it's early
yes.
days. That information could be mixed up. So maybe it is just
Yeah.
bad rolls.
I probably won't mess with that
Yeah.
setting. I'll just keep it on
Yeah,
whatever
you can
they
turn
had it
that
on.
up.
I
If
think I
you
might
want
turn
to,
it off because if I get a bunch of bad,
Yeah.
I think I want the opportunity to get a bunch of bad rolls. Although I
Yeah,
say
maybe
that,
you're right.
and then we'll see. Who knows?
Then it actually happens. Then all of a sudden, it
Yeah.
ain't so fun. But
It's
there,
not
there
fun
have been a
anymore,
couple
yes.
times where, like, to me, like a dialogue option seems kind of unclear. Like in my head, it's presented as this good thing, and then when you play it, it's sort of like that's not really how I thought that was going to play out. I thought that I was being nice here, and actually, the way my character did that seemed mean. Then maybe I'll reload. Something
Okay.
like that,
So,
right?
like, are you F5ing, quick saving a lot?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, quick save constantly.
That's
I mean, that's
what
just a
I'll do.
habit with these kind of games
Mhm.
that I like. I'm a quick save kind of guy. I like doing that. I think the other thing too is get in the habit of like saying, I have 30 minutes to play this game. That's okay. I'll get something done.
Right. That's the other thing I've heard is like as much as it feels like a game that you want to give all day to for the first run, like you can accomplish interesting stuff in a half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Even if it's just like an encounter. That's an accomplishment.
Yep, this is a game that I feel like I have to play, so I'm getting excited, and it's just part of it is it's just fun to hear people talking about it already.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that. Anything else you're playing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I talked about playing the Quake II remaster and 30XX quite a bit, but both of those have been really fun. I'm excited to jump into more of that, actually. But yeah, and then Pikmin 4 is still just very, very good. You know what I'm talking about now with that kind of Olimar side campaign. That's
Yeah, I did it.
and that's really fun.
Yep, it's I like, and I mentioned this on the Bombcast or somewhere. I mean, it might have been in Game of Mornings earlier today. I like looked over and because Addie's like, I want to be playing as this guy, and she shows me Olimar. I'm like, oh, but you can't. And then I look back, and then I look over, and it's like, wait, that's not the tutorial where you do this one. And she's playing that as one. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, that's the thing. Oh, I do have that. I just didn't even realize that it's like you just go talk to him to start that campaign. And it was like, so I watched her play a little bit, and then I realized that the days were counting down, and she was like ruining my run. So I'm like, okay, let me help you a little bit. And then I'm like, no, actually, I'll just once she's out off here, I'm gonna restart. And so I did that, and I did. I got basically what I like fixed what she did, and then did like a day, and then I came back later that night, and I played it through in one big sitting. It is.
Yep.
It's just so much fun once you get on a roll with that game. And you know, a lot of it comes down to like just that momentum of being like, okay, if I get 2 today, that means I'm on pace. But what if I could set things up and maybe I get 2 today and to get 3 spaceship parts tomorrow? And it's like once you get ahead of schedule, that feels so good. And then when you get
never ahead of schedule. I had to get 6 on the last day, and I had to basically Groundhog Day that shit. I played through it like 5 times, like really like off to me. I can do this. And then I
that's
finally
fun
did
too,
it.
though.
Felt
Like,
so
like
good. It was fun.
hyper optimizing one day at the very end.
Oh yeah,
That's
it was great.
I
loved it.
So yeah, it was cool because like I did 3 in one day like several times in a row, and then I got to that last place and I got 0 on the first. I'm like, oh, I'm screwed, and like this is gonna be difficult. But it's like no, I think it started working out from there. But I was like, I'm glad I built up all that extra like room to help me actually explore this area. Beat it in like 12 days, and it's just really well.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean. You keep in mind,
man, your Dan Dory is maybe better than mine.
well, keep in mind, I had the experience of you saying I thought I was going to get more time, and
Yeah.
and so I'm like, okay, I'm keeping it in my head in a way that you probably weren't. That like I need to worry about this right
it
away.
was in the back of my head that like it's not really 15 days.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Right?
come
Yeah,
and
you said
say,
that, so I knew it was really 15 days. So it was like
It's 15 days.
yes. So it very much encouraged me to stay on point from the very beginning. But yeah, it was a ton of fun, and I just couldn't
It
stop
took me a
playing
bit
again.
to realize, especially in that mode, I don't really need to waste time bringing back all of these enemies to my base. That's actually not doing very much
Right.
for me.
In that mode, it is a little bit different, though, because bringing back enemies like sprouts more Pikmin. But once you have enough Pikmin, like you can
Right.
only have 100 out at a time, right? In that mode,
Right,
eventually.
exactly.
So it's like
You're not getting Sparkium for them, like, or whatever.
exactly.
So,
So it's like, yes, you don't want to waste your time bringing back every little
yeah.
thing.
12 days. That's
12 days?
possible?
Yeah, it was.
Because I squeaked by, Jeff. Boy, did I squeak by. I was worried. Like, I was going to do this fucking thing again.
Wait,
No. Like, I was ready for it. Like, whatever. I'll do better. It'll be
I mean,
fun.
I also had the advantage of like seeing Addie play through a little bit of it, like watch over her shoulder, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I see where she's like messing up, and I
Take
could do
the
this and that.
compliment. Take the compliment. You're good at
I
Pikmin 4.
really
Very
like
nice.
Pikmin 4 a lot.
It's
yes,
a fun game.
It's a very fun game. So yeah, it's now I'm back in there chasing Louie, and it's that's fun
Son
as
of a
well.
bitch.
Yeah, you little rascal. out there. I got almost all the onions.
I always just assumed Louis was like supposed to be Olimar's brother. By the way, I knew nothing about him except that he was the player 2 in Pikmin 2.
Yep.
And I just assumed like, well, that's the Luigi, so that must be Olimar's brother.
No, totally. Honestly, if you would have asked me like last year's Louis Olimar's brother, I'd be like, yeah, I think so. That sounds right. Almost certainly. Yeah,
probably.
The caves near the end of the game, I think are really like they keep getting more and more interesting. It's really fun. Once the dog gets fully upgraded, he's a big boy. Yeah, you just send him in there and just crush everything. That's like really useful when it's like, okay, I have a whole bunch of Pikmin with me, and yeah, I could like I could take the time of like separating them into like one little group and then take the right Pikmin into there. The dog is pretty much immune at this point to everything. I'll just send him in there. He could take on most enemies up to a certain size, and I'll let him do most of the damage, and then we'll come in and clean it up. And it's like, it's a good strategy as well.
And it's nice, especially those night excursions, because you can just send him to one of the bases, and he will probably lock it down all on his own at a certain point.
Yep. It is it's a lot of fun. Number 2 game of the year still, although a lot left to play in terms of games.
God, it's 11:08. All right, let's do these super chats, and we gotta do a Columbo podcast.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I forgot. Okay,
gosh.
hit him.
Okay, Chris Harden says, I'm a year late, but Herc's Adventures rules. Never played much Herc's Adventures, I have to say. Jeff?
Yeah, I didn't either.
Papa's Me says, just GPT a chance to try out. Oh, just got a chance. I thought this was a chat GPT reference. Just a typo. Just got a chance to try out my new 8-bit do retro style NES controller on Super Metroid NSO. Feels so much better than the stock Pro controller. Ooh,
agreed.
I'm gonna be playing Super Metroid again too, because that's the game that's capable
Yeah.
of gambling. All right, let's go. That's fine. And Seraphis Kane says, didn't mention 1998 boob tattoo game Trespasser. That's a game that I immediately know exactly the magazine ad.
Yeah.
Don't really know what that game is, but I know the magazine ad.
Yes, oh my God, yeah, look
Incredible.
at that thing.
All right, we'll figure out if next week we want to do 1999 right away. Maybe we'll take a break and do a Mount Rushmore or draft or something else. But I don't know. I've been kind of having fun with these. I wouldn't mind doing 1999.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll take a break when the time feels right. We'll see. Maybe that's next week. Maybe not. All right, Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on all the places at Tolkoto, Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky, all that stuff. I'm there. And when Giant Bomb, we've been doing some stuff on Giant Bomb. You beat the Batman. So
I beat the Batman.
Dan's going to be doing the Silver campaign of Sonic 06 soon, which means somehow already my turn will be up again in a bit. I don't. This seems like way too fast to me, but we're getting.
Hey, it's your fault. Your fault for picking. You did this to yourself, Mike. Did this to yourself by picking a short Batman Dark Tomorrow.
It wasn't that. That was as long as the Robocop game. You cheated by doing a bunch of 2-hour episodes because I had to do an hour for my episodes. Like, well, I had to go to work now. I can't just play Robocop all day here. I had to stop. I remember the first thing you played for like 2.5 hours. I was like, you should stop now. And you were like, oh, we don't have to.
It wasn't 2.5 hours. Jesus, I didn't realize that.
Like, Jeff, I don't work here.
We need a code word for that so I can know, because I lose track of time really easy. I did that with Mortal Kombat as well. Like, we just kept going.
Well, Mortal Kombat, yeah, that was fun. Well, Mortal Kombat was easy for me to multitask.
Well, yeah, no, when you're playing, I get it's different, yeah. All right. I am Jeff Grubb on Twitch. I think I'm going to stream tomorrow. I know I say that a lot, but it's time to get back.
I like knowing when you do, because then I won't.
Yeah, I know, Christian. I know.
Funny joke.
God, well, here's the thing: is like I might stream to have people help me with Baldur's Gate, so I can like just.
That's fine. No, honestly, I streamed the beginning, and it was incredibly helpful because they did tell me a lot of things I didn't understand.
I mean, yeah, because it's like I think like the video game side of it, I think I could probably get pretty quickly. But there's a lot of D&D, sort of cruft, and not in a bad way.
Well, like there's the way spells work. Very confusing. I need help with that.
I
sure.
Listened to Real Play Podcast a bunch of times. Still don't know what a cantrip is, so I'm gonna have to.
Cantrips are just the spells you can actually always use.
Oh, okay, well that's okay.
Cantrips are the easy ones. Use cantrips. Feel good about that. The other
spell
ones
slots, yeah.
The spell slots we have way less of, and you need to take a long rest to get more.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll figure it all out. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.
See you later.
Oh, let's freaking go.
right, Jeff. Let's do each other here.
Okay.
Look, I'll say it. You should probably have to see Seaman at some point.